Hello, everybody. Welcome to Irongeek Cast number 154, Hanging Chad. How's everyone doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
Go Chiefs! Won the ball.
Oh yeah. Go Chiefs.
I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, I mean it was actually a really good game. A lot of my friends are pissed off about anybody who watched it due to them rejecting Second Amendment commercials, but
Yeah, I haven't seen that. So wait, they actively rejected them? It wasn't just...
yeah, it sounds like they were submitted, were paying the money, and said nope, we're not going to show it. So yeah.
I open it up for Ellen's Alexa commercial or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't watch too many. I'm trying to think of any commercial. Oh, the Sam Elliott commercial. That was funny. That's like the only commercial I actually remember.
Oh.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I haven't watched it with the commercials. I just saw there was a bunch of woke commercials, and so I kind of tuned it all out.
Yeah. I think that one was like a Doritos commercial. And that's a sign of a good commercial if you actually know what product they were talking about. But they had that. What's that song? Old Town Road. But they had that, and in one part, Sam Elliott's, instead of doing the wave like that, his mustache did the wave. It was freaking awesome.
Okay. I'll have to look that up. I have not searched before I did not watch any of it.
It's good. It was funny.
Oh, shit. I just saw
Could have watched it.
Kirk Douglas apparently just died at the age of 103.
Did he really?
Yeah, just passed away apparently, I'm assuming today. The news is on CBS Los Angeles at 32 minutes old, so I'm assuming this... I didn't realize he was 103. Damn.
Yeah, I knew he was up there, but yeah. Real quick through. Good evening, Justin, Cynthia, and Jason.
Hi, folks.
Glad you all are here. But yeah, this week, thankfully, it's been kind of slow. Super Bowl. I wish they kind of moved Super Bowl to Friday or Saturday. Well, Friday night would work too, but a Friday or Saturday, just, because a lot of the country does go to work on a Monday. And
not a lot of people went to work today. I can tell you that much.
Yeah?
It was a sea of red downtown. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Because you're right there, right?
I'm like 30 plus minutes away from downtown KC.
Yeah, because they had
well, which KC? Which KC held
parades and
Union stations.
No, I say which
KCK. No. That's KC Mo. That's KC Mo. It's KC. No, okay. So Kansas City Chiefs are in Missouri.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The stadium's in Missouri. Therefore, when they go to Kansas City, they stay on the KC Mo side. And they were at Union Station, which I believe is it's like right there.
Yeah, Union Station's KC Mo.
Yeah. That was just a sea of red, and it's gonna be like that until maybe tomorrow. Probably they're all gonna pass out on the street. Just funnily enough, there was a incident that one of my coworkers saw when she was coming into work. She saw a cop pulling over a white panel van and getting the guy out of the car. Obviously was drunk and was just he got in the cop car at 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
I was like, damn, okay.
He's like,
I'm like, you just went on a bender.
That looks like a really comfortable bed in there. Can I just get in?
Bend it like Bender, dude.
There you go.
Oh my.
Hey, so
why are you pulled the Otis from the Andy Griffin Show?
Oh yes, Otis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know it's before your time.
Yeah, way before Cappy's time, like 60 years before his time. So Cappy, why are you in grayscale?
I don't know. I was like, hey, can I figure out how to do this? And I did. I'm like, okay, cool.
Did you do that through Jitsi or just something locally on your system?
No, locally. If you, my camera is a Logitech camera, so I can actually do it again, and I can actually how to change it. So I just threw it to grayscale for a second.
Grayscale?
And wherever it's at. So, Charles.
That wasn't gray skull. That was gray scale.
Grayscale. Okay. What's up? Oh,
What's up?
Nothing much. Houston, man. Oh, I'm barbecued out.
Well, nah, you gotta come up here now.
Yeah, I was about to say you gotta go to KC. You'll definitely be barbecued out with them.
No, you need to go to a better place than Papa's. That's what you need to do.
Well, tell me what's up. Where I need to go?
You need to drive up to me.
Shut up. If you gotta drive that way, might as well come here because I know some good places in DFW. Probably go to Lockhart. That's probably the closest place I can think of.
Lockhart. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
how long are you there for?
We're here until Friday, so
you might have time then.
Yeah. So probably hit up Lockhart.
Here's Lockhart.
Yeah, Papa's. That was for lunch. Man, I mean, Texas. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, that's gonna be a bit of a drive for you. It's probably yeah. I'm not sure I want to do it in Lockhart. I forgot it's near Austin.
Yeah, I think how big Texas is, and I guess there's also some distortion based on latitude, longitude, and how they have to do the maps. Indiana, I think I can drive across pretty much all of Indiana in 5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Dude, but the whatchamacallit, the weather's down here was beautiful. It's just, man.
Yeah, you're missing all the ice and snow that North Texas is getting right now.
Yeah, I'm missing all of that because I'm enjoying the 70-degree weather. Ow!
We're getting 45-degree weather in New York, which is pretty nice.
Houston's always warm as shit. You'd be thankful you're not there in the summer because it'd be 110 and humid as fuck.
I must have brought the winter.
I might have to get some cowboy boots as a belt buckles.
Big belt buckles.
The big belt buckles.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Big brass belt buckle.
I took your Oh, the Uber driver started laughing so hard. I was reading what you said. Stay out of the wards.
He knew. He knew, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "Whoever told you that, they were damn right. Don't you go in the ward."
You don't go in the wards unless you want to get killed or raped, or both.
I don't get it. I mean, I didn't have no problems. Like I said, as long as you're not there, as long as you're not there,
Jack's always safe.
Yeah, Jack, you'd be fine there, of course.
Hey, what's that mean? Of course. Whoa.
Well, I'm not.
Well, I mean, I'm there minding my own business. You know, if I see somebody getting jacked, I'm keeping it pushing. But
you're not white, Jack. That's why.
Neither am I.
What the hell? Hey, we actually had this discussion off air.
Yes.
How technically you kind of are. I mean, let's be honest, you kind of are.
Me?
I don't know. I've had people say that Jack and I look just the same. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Trust me, I'm just Charles. I'm just safe. That's what it is. I'm just safe. It's a lot of things amaze me that don't amaze a lot of people. I don't know. I'm breaking out my bubble.
You got that bubble. Oh yeah.
Wait, no.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey Charles, here's something you should go look at while you're down there because I forgot to have them near there. Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's?
Yeah.
Okay, Buc-ee's.
Buccees.
Okay.
It's Boucher's.
No, it's Buc-ee's.
No, it's Buc-ee's. They're a convenience store or something?
Yeah, it's they're big. Yeah, it's a gas station convenience store. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in there. They're really neat.
I'm definitely gonna check it out. Yeah, they're not far either. Yes.
You still should come up and visit me, and we'll get you.
Well, I'm trying to go to Set KC. I think it was B-Sides KC this year.
Yeah, so that's in that's May 8th and 9th.
Okay.
I think, or March. Wait, hang on.
Wait, whoa, stop what you're doing. Actually, wait. Collaborate and listen.
Yeah, B-Sides KC is May 8th through 9th.
Yeah, May 8th through 9th. So I think that's just the con. I know that there might be a couple of I think there's going to be, I don't know if that's official yet, but I was hearing through the grapevine that it's 2 days worth of training this year.
Okay, so
which will be cool.
But I'm definitely hitting up B-Sides KC, Hoosier Hacker Con, Layer 8's in June. Wild West Hack Fest. Now, question: is Hoosier Hacker Con the same day as Wild West Hack Fest, or is that?
So
that's by a day, as I recall.
So what? Okay. Yeah. So Wild West Hacking Fest in North Dakota, or is it North or South Dakota?
South
Dakota. Sorry. Yep. In Deadwood, it goes the day until the day before Who's Your Hacker Con starts.
Okay, so it ends the day before Who's Your Hacker Con. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So if you really want to do it, you could just take a whole week off in. What was it, September, and then just South Dakota to Louisville, and
I can do it that way. Good. Yeah, so I'm on tour. For Houston, this is just an assessment that we're doing. One week in, 1 week out. Week after I'll be in Albany.
Did you say something?
I was going to say there's a couple sites out there for coordinating dates, but I guess the Three Raccoons in a trench coat that organized Hoosier Hacker Con didn't put the information out to everybody. I know they contacted GurCon to make sure they didn't conflict, and ShowMeCon to make sure. I think ShowMeCon said they didn't conflict, and something else. I think HackCon, but it's hard not to conflict with someone these days.
Yeah. Oh, Charles, how was ShmooCon? That was last week, right?
Yeah. Oh, ShmooCon was awesome. Really had a great time. Met a couple of newcomers that are like not newcomers, but they're kind of newcomers onto the scene that are just starting out with like InfoSec in general. So it was good to meet them. They were real cool. Just like kind of giving them the ins and outs. So what you can expect at a con and how you can get the most out of a conference in general. I did tell them about Who's Your Hacker Con. I actually gave out some stickers as well too.
Thank you.
At ShmooCon. So
nice.
I still got a pack sitting on my desk right now.
Well, spread them around because I don't have any more, but I may order a couple packs before New Orleans, NolaCon.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next con I have is Tampa. If I want to get before Tampa, I probably should order soon.
Yeah, so I ran into a couple. I ran into Ill Will, yay, and Liz. So I was hanging with them.
Didn't Tony show up for a bit too, someplace?
Yeah. And then our other friends showed up, which we'll talk about that offline.
Okay.
We love our other friends.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah. But I got a shout out to Tawny because I got to see Tawny for the first time.
Cool. Very nice.
Yeah, so Tawny came out. We did Hacker Jeopardy. Not Jeopardy, excuse me. We did Hacker Family Feud. Shout out to Hackers Health, Mental Health Hackers Family.
Did Info Sister make it down at all? I didn't.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did she?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We all had a good time hanging out. They put on a social put on the social. I think that was like Saturday night. Put on the social, and then of course they had the party. But I couldn't make the party. I came back home because I had to get ready to fly out to Houston on Sunday.
Oh, the social thing they did, was that where everybody was getting all dressed up to the nines?
Oh, you talking about for the hacker?
Yeah, mental health. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And
okay.
Yeah,
So
we played a little bit of beer pong.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of pictures, but didn't really look into why everybody was getting all dressed up. So,
did you run into Click in the mental health village?
What's that?
Did you run into Click in the mental health village?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I was glad to just, like I said, mostly I hung out. I was just walking around. I did buy some no starch books because I wanted to support. I bought Black Cat Go.
Because you're anti-starch.
You know. So, but and just like I said, just chatted with a lot of people. Then when it was my time to leave, because I knew I wasn't coming back Sunday, I gave my badge to one of the somebody from Dead Pixel Sec. So
wait, whoa, people do that? They give badges?
I gave mine. I wanted to, I know I wasn't going to be coming back, so I wanted to make sure that somebody else who needed the badge to give them a badge. So like I said, I as usual, I always have a good time hanging with my hacker family.
Heck
I
yeah.
really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to do it again. Oh, question: besides Cleveland, I need info. I'm coming out.
Oh, I can look up the dates here in just a second. I just got the right tab open here.
Yeah.
See, because I know they've given me dates. Rocky and Susie have.
So I'm submitting for B-Sides Charm. I got to get that submitted this week before I go back home because the call for papers close on February 9th. So I just want to get that in.
Yeah, B-Sides Cleveland is June 20th.
Oh, perfect. Okay. June.
I haven't heard anything from B-Sides Charm yet, though. Unfortunately, it happens just the day after B-Sides Columbus, and I've already told B-Sides Columbus I'm going to come. And getting from Columbus, which is a 2-hour drive for me, to Charm might be difficult.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, and apparently it's looking like I'm going to be at B-Sides Atlanta. So yeah, FYI.
Okay, will you be at Cleveland too, or no?
Probably not.
Okay,
but I don't know. We'll see. I may try to just say screw it and go up.
Look at that. Yeah. Like I said, this year, just putting all the cons together, definitely that I want to go to, and like I said, just doing it, and just working my schedule around it and just having some fun.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I like I said, just having some fun, and then learning some cool new stuff. 2 weeks we'll have our ISO. We're back online with SecBSD. We had our servers. We had to move some servers around because the servers that we were hosting on, we were running into some issues. And plus, it's kind of like 7 of us kind of just running it ourselves, so that makes it a little bit difficult. But the next 2 weeks we should have a ISO ready to test and ready to rock and roll for the general public. Woohoo!
You guys sitting in a data center, or is somebody like one of the 7 hosting?
Well, in the beginning it was somebody hosting, and now more so in the data center. So, so we're starting off. It was starting off pretty rough, but we're making it through.
And two, like, depend upon who you know, and not necessarily you, just talking in general, but anybody listening to, depend upon who you know and kind of building out that network. I know people who own, not like people who work at, but people who own at least 3 data centers in Columbus, and have offered me in the past if I need to throw some stuff in there, like, they'll let me do it. Essentially, either at no cost or a heavily reduced cost. And my son is at the top of the stairs screaming at the top of his lungs.
Say hey! Hey.
Yeah, he's saying something.
That is my little buddy. Hey, buddy.
He's saying he wants another brother.
He already has a little brother.
No, he wants another one.
Well, I mean, we'll see. We're planning a fairly large vacation next year overseas, and then we'll see what happens once we come back from there.
He can only throw his little brother against the wall once. He needs more.
I'm going to say congratulations early.
Charles, now, come on. We all know you're going to have your second before I have my third.
I'm going to drop out of the call real quick.
I mean, that's just known.
Well, my wife always says, "Hey, Simone, do you want brother?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Uh-oh."
Heck yeah. Oh man, I can't even imagine if I would have had an older sister. I mean, granted, I'm the oldest, but I think I would have much more enjoyed having an older brother than an older sister.
Now, older sisters are cool.
What? Come on, now, don't lie. How many times? I'm assuming, have an older sister.
Yes.
And how many times did you have to play make believe with her? And how many times did she dress you up?
What, my older sister? No, I didn't get dressed up.
Oh, don't you lie.
Yeah, you didn't dress me up. I didn't get dressed up. No, I just learned how ladies think from her friends. I just learned how they.
Now, like that case, I can see where that could be a benefit because now you could potentially flirt with your older sister's friends. You know who are older.
No.
Oh, don't. You were trying to.
Dude,
I guarantee it. I mean, you failed, I'm sure, but I guarantee at least once you tried.
No, way older than me.
Oh, like how much older?
Let's like 20 years.
Whoa,
You're around 20 something.
Your older sister is 20 years older than you.
So your parents had your kids separated by a good amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my grandma was.
So I have so in my family is one girl, 5 boys, 1 girl.
So okay. So even gotcha. I was gonna say, like, does it go straight from you to the older sister? Were you like, oh shoot, we forgot those condoms? You know, we got those whenever his older sister was born.
Yeah, you go on ahead at 3 and 4 kids, and you go. I come from a big family. I know.
Nice.
But I love it. They drive me crazy sometimes, but I love them all. Yep. So, speaking of love, let's get back to hanging with Chad and the cast.
Yeah, good old hanging, Chad. And I did want to do a little shout out. Hey, AP, haven't seen you on in a while. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, AP.
Yeah. Who haven't we heard from? Anybody? I think everybody's talked at least once so far.
I said hello.
Yeah. Frank's here. Darren, I know he talked. And Jack, obviously, you can't keep him from talking, so.
You can try.
Or at least Caprico can't. Okay. Frank, you want to hit up those show notes?
Sure. Show notes. All right. First thing we're going to do today, we have any announcements that we haven't covered yet?
Nope, we went through all those.
All right, so we're on to the breach report. We can talk about some ransomware. This week has not been as bad as some weeks in the past. So I'm going to start off with this town in Wisconsin called Racine was crippled by ransomware. So what happened here was they got hit with ransomware like always happens everywhere now, and they're targeting municipalities. So we see more and more towns getting hit. They don't talk so much about what strain of ransomware hit them or anything like that, but they talk about the library, the police, and the fire department are not affected, which is good, but everything else is down. So And they talk about the importance of not opening attachments in emails when you don't trust the recipient. So that's pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, and
Everybody should know that.
Yeah, and that is a biggie. I hope outside of probably Atlanta, but I hope there are no local governments, that do not have emergency services fully segmented away from general government. That is my hope. Caprico can probably confirm that's not the case, but that's my hope. That should be priority. Segment, fire, EMS, police off completely.
I don't even have to confirm that. You read a story where they have to go back to pen and paper, i.e. Baltimore.
Well, but Baltimore, was that emergency services too, though?
Yeah, I think that was included. Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
that particular IT city manager, he was fucking inept.
Well, yeah, that's true.
All right. So the next thing that we've got is ITI Technical College is the latest victim of ransomware attack, and that is in Louisiana in Baton Rouge. I think I said that right.
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Baton Rouge, Baton Rouge. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Baton.
I'm too white to say it.
The number one question I have for this one: do they have an information security course?
Okay.
That's going to be my big question.
ITI Technical College. Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's going to Google it. So they decided they're not going to pay the ransom, which is good. I like when they don't pay the ransom because at least those bastards don't get paid. They are somehow sure that they didn't steal any information, but that they only encrypted information. I don't know how you could be sure of that. Maybe they were able to get a copy of the virus and upload it to one of the services, figure out what kind it is, and then see that it's not something this strain does.
Yeah.
No, you can actually monitor network traffic and see if anything's getting exploited.
Oh, you're assuming they have a SOC. They probably don't have a SOC.
Well, no. I mean, you can go back to logging.
Yeah, they may, dump stuff to a SIM. They may be inspecting NetFlow. Get that network packet information, and two, like on a virus perspective, if they were sending that between systems, if that wasn't a encrypted channel and they were able to get that east-west traffic, which, since they got hit and got taken down, they probably aren't. But if they were, you could still get that a lot of the information from that packet sniff. So, and I did want to say, hanging out. AP said, hanging out with you guys has made me unemployable with a smiley face.
That's great.
AP, you're touching my heart right now. But I do want to see if you ever got your chair, up to like Inspector Gadget levels. I still want to see a picture of that. So like DM me on Twitter.
So just found ITI's degree programs.
Yeah.
In terms
Are they associates?
So it's a certification.
Oh, okay.
They're a CIP, but from what I'm seeing is, the degree is called Computer and Information Science and Support Services. And none of them have anything to do with
InfoSec.
Well, not specifically InfoSec. It's more tailored around help desk and development.
Okay.
And also AI.
Okay.
And robotics. It's like
that tells me all I need to know right there.
So here's the first thing. Computer and information sciences general. Okay. Artificial intelligence and robotics. What? But I think that's a cert within itself.
Nice.
So I have no idea. I don't know how this is set up, but ITI Tech looks to be more of like a certification college or skill-based college.
Yeah.
Where
I mean, at least they don't have an infosec track, and because that would be even worse. That would just be, gas on the fire. So
I just like the picture that they have for the IT. It's a guy holding a.
Is it a hammer?
No, it's a mother. Yeah, I'll show you. It's a motherboard without a processor in it. That just has a single SAS connection to a 2.5-inch hard drive. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Yes. What is the problem here? How do we solve it? There's no processor or RAM. No, that's not the what. Anyway.
This is a motherboard.
I'm like, that's an interesting picture.
This is like mothers once the children go off to grade school.
No, boarding school. Motherboard.
But
by the way, off topic subject, but is me making a meme of Cory Booker and putting on a rest in peace Kirk Douglas 1916 to 2020? Is that in bad taste?
I don't know. I'm not woke enough to get it.
All right, never mind. Continue.
All right. If we want to move on, the next thing we've got is Maze ransomware is hitting law firms and French giant bourgeois. Bourgeoisie.
Bourgeois.
I don't know how to say it. Bourgeois. Anyway, so the gist of this article is that this Maze ransomware, which is becoming more and more prevalent, seems to be specifically targeting a bunch of places in France, law firms in France specifically. The ones that have been hit so far have had their customer data published, but ominously for other victims, the group is promising that proofs are coming soon. So the thing with this Maze ransomware crew, what they're doing is they're hitting them twice. So the first time they're hitting them with you want your stuff back? Here's the decryptor. Give us $1 million. The second time is, you don't want us to leak everything that we've been able to exfiltrate from your network? Well, that's another $1 million. So they're getting them twice, and I bet some firms were hit that never even told anybody because that's just what happens,
Well, I mean, they could have gone full, three whammies, and then said, okay, well, if you don't want it leaked, give us the money, and then we'll. So are they doing it independently? So if they don't do the one, then they are offering up the second one?
I'm not sure, but what I can tell you is the next article is probably going to tell us the answer to that because that's all about the Maze ransomware crew. This is just about one thing that it did.
Okay, yeah, let's hit that because most of the time, if they pay at kind of one level, they normally, because it is a customer-oriented service, as sad as that sounds, because most of the time, if they don't pay at one level, or they do pay at one level, they won't progress on to the different levels. And sometimes the final third level is data destruction. So, hit that next article and let's see.
All right, so this article is called Maze Ransomware Hackers Extorting Providers Posting Stolen Health Data. So recent reports have shown the hacking group behind Maze Ransomware has been steadily posting the data of its victims online after the organizations failed to pay the ransom demand. A compiled list of victims shows the data of several healthcare organizations are already included in these postings, despite a lack of public reporting of those incidents. FBI issued a warning in January that the hackers behind the Maze ransomware have increased targeted attacks within the private sector. These attacks they pose as legitimate security vendors or government agencies to encrypt and steal data. Maze is just one of several hacking groups that's taken to either threatening or extorting and publishing data for sale on the dark web, including other hacking groups like the ones behind Sodinokibi and
Arible.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Or Dolly Paymer. And actually,
Dolly Paymer.
That Doppelpaymer. I can't speak today.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dolly Parton. What?
Doppelpaymer. Anyway, Yeah, some of the other articles we have are actually going to talk about other groups are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So, getting more into this, a threat analyst from MC-Soft. I always say that wrong. I always say ME-Soft, and I know that's not it. But anyway, the healthcare organization, among the published victims include Stockdale Radiology and Sunset Radiology. There appear to be data from several chiropractors and doctors in South Dakota that is mislabeled as data from a company called Ramtech. One of the largest medical data postings appear to be from New Jersey Medical Diagnostic Laboratories. The Maze Hackers website claims that it encrypted 231 workstations during a cyber attack. When they refused to pay the demand, they published 9.5 gigs of data in an attempt to force negotiations.
Woo! That's a little chunk of change, or a little chunk of data.
In total, they apparently have 100 gigs of data stolen from MD Lab, and they're demanding 100 Bitcoin, or $832,880 for the release of the keys that would unlock the stolen files.
Nice.
Another 100 Bitcoin was demanded to destroy the data. Yeah, that's a lot of money. I wish I had that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, but too, if it is critical information and they have it and you don't have it anymore, either one, they're going to be paying in full, or two, they're going to be leveraging their insurance and then still paying the remainder. So
that's also not like patient data. That's IP of that lab. That's research data.
Well,
so it's not like...
The next one we're going to be talking about, DoppelPair. They actually, if you don't pay them to delete it, they then try and sell it on the dark net, which is just like a whole other level of dick. So they don't release it to just anybody; they'll sell it to people online.
Yeah, I mean, you got to you got to pay the bills.
Yeah, they're going to make their money.
They'll get paid one way or another.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, all right, we're taking a cut, but I had no investment. I had very little investment for this in the first place. So
that's right.
Simple, like act on low cost to gain high profit, or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Hack low, sell high. And AP, why don't they hit the big three? They are probably trying to. But two, I like to say hackers, have the consistency of water. They're going to go through the path of least resistance. And so they're going to hit the low-hanging fruit. They're going to hit whatever they find that's most accessible at any point in time. So if those start to dry up, then the game has to, increase. And that's whenever we'll see the big three, so to say, start to get hit more.
For
or
those
at
that
least
don't,
intense against them.
For those that don't know what the big three is, could you explain that?
Yeah, just the largest medical groups. I mean, no matter what the industry is, it doesn't matter. Just in regard to medical, just like the Experience and the TransUnions. Whenever we talk about credit, hospital systems, the massive hospital systems, insurance companies, law firms. Accounting is massive. That span multiple countries. So whenever you're looking at that, the big ones in any kind of industry vertical they're going to be consistently hit. People are going to be scanning their perimeters, doing all this stuff, attempting to get in. And most of the time, they're going to have that low-hanging fruit taken care of. Whereas, and they're going to block out showdown scans. Whereas some smaller firms, some smaller hospitals, they're not going to be necessarily blocking out showdown. But in the same sense, a fish is still going to work the vast majority of the time. And I did want to, because I had a thought while we were discussing this. Windows 10 has actually made it easier to distribute malware and ransomware on a global scale. Due to the underlying programming or underlying system is English, and then the language packs just sit on top of it. So anything in English now will still work that's programmed out. Whereas used to, with Windows 7 and before, language packs really affected the underlying language of the operating system too. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more cross-border hits and a lot more prolific hacks in the future.
I'm just waiting for them to release Docker or to replace Hyper-V and watch that shitstorm kick off.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
that just seems rather weird to me because I thought Windows 7 was language agnostic.
It tried to be, but if you were, say, somebody developing custom code and tried to get all the functionality to work on other languages, it was not going to happen without a lot more custom code. Whereas with Windows 10, you can have one code set and deploy it to any system. Doesn't matter what language they're running that system as. Everything underlying is now English, and language packs don't affect the underlying systems.
It's good to know.
Yeah, because I've been with a couple companies now where those issues have been encountered.
So you guys want to move on to vulnerable stuff, or you guys want to talk more about this ransomware?
I think we can move on to vulnerable stuff. I've got one more thing to add right before we hit the bulletin, though. So I will add that as we go.
No, go ahead.
Ooh, Cappy on the fly.
Because I remembered something that I read earlier today.
Nice. I don't remember anything I read. I forget it right away. So your Philips Hue light bulbs, they can be hacked. They can still be hacked. And until recently, compromise your network. That's great. I remember when this originally came out, they had like a hub for these light bulbs, and you could actually compromise the hub and then use that to get into the network. Now you can do it with just the bulbs. Mm-hmm. You know, that's great. I back in the day, I had about 3 years ago now, I had some cheap Chinese light-changing light bulbs, and you could actually what?
I have some of those right now.
Yeah. Those are fun to hack. You can actually get a Netcat shell on a very, very limited Linux-like system that's underneath. That's got very, very little stuff. But I don't know why it's even necessary. There shouldn't have the need for any OS on a light bulb.
Oh, so it's like the Alpine image that
everyone Netcat binary already on there, pre-installed or pre-available.
Hey, Liz.
Hey there. So it already had the Netcat executable already on the light bulb. You didn't have to upload it?
Yeah, it had Netcat on there.
Nice.
It didn't have SSH, but it had Telnet.
Okay.
TCP/IP functions, just they still can just make a script to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's the efficient way of doing things, but Netcat seems to be on a lot of devices that it doesn't really need to be.
Well, it is kind of the Swiss Army knife, so probably use it for testing.
Swiss Army knife.
Swiss Army cat.
Swiss cat. Oh, that would be awesome. It would be Swiss cat, and it'd be a cat with a little thing of hot cocoa.
And a text bubble that says, "I've already gotten into your network." How, Netcat?
I would like that.
So, according to Checkpoint, these bulbs, these Philips Hue bulbs, you're already safe from the worst part of the hack if you're using their hub, because their hub automatically updated the software on the hub itself to a new version that contains the patch that you want. But if you're just using the light bulbs without the hub, not so good. So this is not an easy hack. It took a fairly clever patient hacker to exploit this vulnerability in the first place. You had to upload a malicious over-the-air update to the hub bulb. It relied on messing with the hacked bulb's color and brightness long enough to trick the owner into resetting it, and then adding that bulb to their network, at which point the hacked bulb overwhelms the Hue hub with data, taking control of the hub in turn. That's a lot more complicated than the other light bulb hacks that I've seen, but it's a hack nonetheless. When you have these Zigbee devices and these IoT devices on your network, it's putting a whole bunch of unnecessary risk out there that doesn't need to be, in my opinion. I would rather have a dumb television than like a smart television, you know? I don't want anything on my network that doesn't need to be there. And I try and segment IoT devices on a separate network altogether that, can't talk to my main devices.
Yes.
Anyway, the hacker-controlled light bulb was updated with firmware that uses the Zigbee protocol vulnerabilities to trigger a heap-based buffer overflow on the control bridge by sending a large amount of data to it. The data also enables the hacker to install malware on the bridge, which in turn is connected to the target business or the home network. So these are Zigbee light bulbs. I don't know if you're gonna go for an IoT protocol on a light bulb. I would.
Isn't Zigbee just Z-Wave?
It's proprietary Z-Wave. It's the same specs with different transmission stuff. You can see it, but you can't talk to it unless you aren't using the same protocol. It's like physically the same, different software, if that makes sense.
Hang on, I gotta slack this to a buddy. Just, no, a student asked me a bunch of questions on IoT devices, so this is...
And which, Wi-Fi enabled light bulb you would recommend?
No, well, yeah, for him to hack.
So I had Wi-Fi enabled light bulbs, and I was able to hack those. That was great. But these are Zigbee ones, so that's a whole nother mess of stuff that you have to play with.
And AP did make a good point. Just don't buy anything that punches a hole in your firewall. See, there you go. If it's self-contained, internal, stays local to your environment, still segment it off, but that's by far the better way of doing it.
I was pissed off recently to find out my MB server poked a hole in the firewall. Normally I use Plex, and it just does like this port forwarding shit where it doesn't actually forward a port. It forwards it out to like their server and does this whole loop around thing, kind of like the way TeamViewer works.
Yeah.
But this thing just popped a hole in my firewall without even telling me. Opened a port. I scanned my home network, and I was like, why is this shit open? I got a web server exposed to the internet. I didn't mean to do that. So,
as well as, too, if you want to get really, really low level with it, do a deny all and explicitly open connections to specific sites on the ports that are allowed. If you really want to dive into it. And then if something new shows up in your environment, screw it, no.
That which is not explicitly allowed is denied.
Yeah.
That's some CISSP shit right there.
Oh, no, that is way past CISSP shit. What were you going to say, Cappy?
That
was a very interesting noise.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, that one.
I can't remember. I thought I was gonna say something.
Well, I mean, you're getting older. It comes with age, No,
I was gonna say it could be worse. You could have a FTP server that the manufacturer decided to be a good idea to allow that externally facing on the device by default, and also publish documentation on how to access it from anywhere in the world. Which we covered like a year and a half ago.
And that'd be even better if they did not allow you to update the password on it.
For
the administrative account.
Yeah, you had to do a couple of ring around steps. From what I remember. It was also like a year and a half ago that I talked about it, and the only reason I remember that is because I saw one recently, and I was like, wow, okay.
Nice.
Sadly, not on an engagement. That was just when I was researching.
He said CISSP is how many light bulbs do you need in your parking lot? I agree.
I want to create a new term for or a new cert that's called the heuristic analysis computers. I can't remember actually. I don't remember. It eventually just spells out hacked, but I made it so it sounded like a marketing thing. I'll have to find it and then I'll tweet it out. It was still of artificial intelligence. I can't remember what the freaking thing was.
So Jerry asks, does anyone here have a CISSP?
Yes.
think Jack does. Does anybody else?
Nope.
I got a CEH.
Yeah, you have your ethical hacker.
I'm at the same point that Israel is.
That's right. Well, but I'm anti-cert, so I just don't agree with really getting the certs.
I have a training
cert. Pain in your voices. I feel the pain in your voices.
Though, yeah, Liz has his OSCP. Like that is one cert. At least I am more comfortable with because Liz had to show an expertise at least within one area and do hands-on to be able to gain it. So I definitely have more respect on the OSCP side. Not discounting other certs because I'm still not a cert person, but I do like OSCP, OSCE. Oh, Charles has his OSCP.
He's working on his OSCE.
Yeah, and I think he's still working on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept trying harder, but I guess I didn't try hard enough.
I think the only thing that I have that's a certification of anything is on the wall behind me, and then a training certificate from Black Hill Security.
Yeah.
For threat hunting.
Cappy went to a real college.
And state.
and state.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
I'm just trying to figure out why you're asking about my fact that I had to kiss ISC Square's cinnamon ring.
Bro, you know at one time ISC Squared had me blocked on Twitter? Win got me unblocked, but I'm not exactly sure how that one happened. Not that I don't block people pretty indiscriminately myself, but I'm just wondering how I pissed them off.
You probably pissed off somebody that had access to that account, and then they said, "Well, take this."
Or I made some block list. That happens.
Yeah, like the Raspberry Pi, who runs that Twitter account, subscribed to massive block lists in the past. So, people who run brand accounts do stupid things.
Yeah, someone recently retweeted me or suggested me as someone that followed or someone I blocked. I'm like, shit, I don't want the drama. I'll temporarily unblock them. But I started looking at the feed, and I'm like, this is so much someone I'm going to reblock here shortly.
Now, there is a lot of discussion going on over on the YouTube side. So I do want to clarify one thing. Even though I'm not a fan of certs, I've been in the industry for close to 20 years. I guess actually 20 years. So I have that experience level too, though. So for somebody who is newer getting into, InfoSec and things like that, the doors may not be as easy to get through unless you do have some of those certifications. It's definitely going to be an easier road to go down if you have some of those certs. So
I'm not sure how long I've been in the industry. What do you officially consider in the industry? Irongeek.com last Thursday, I think, became 16 years old. But I didn't actually work in the industry until 2012.
Yeah, so I've been doing security-related things since '99.
Okay, and I can go back to 96, but not exactly full-time that.
Yeah.
That means you have 23 years of experience.
Yeah. I mean,
I have 23 years of experience in living.
I'm perfectly fine saying, any amount of experience on the security side professionally, because I've been doing, either firewalls or web filter, blah, all this stuff all the way back 20 years ago.
Okay.
But
I'm now picturing Caprico dropping out of his mom and grabbing a little grabbing those little libretto laptops. You remember those from the late '90s?
Oh yeah. Now, granted, I've been messing with computers since '85, but the same sense. Well, in one way or another. But yeah, I wasn't doing it professionally until about '99. So.
Wow, lucky you. I didn't own a computer until I was an adult.
Well, that was, yeah. I mean, it was fortunate because my mom was, I think, the first teacher in Indiana to get a computer. Well, first art teacher in Indiana to get a computer in the classroom. And so there were no real trainings back then. And, local school was not going to pay for her to get trained on it. They gave her the budget to get a computer, so she ended up buying one for home so that she could learn how to use the thing and be able to use it within her class. And so subsequently I got to start playing with it. And back then it was mainly Oregon Trail, Number Munchers. I was the king at primes on Number Munchers. But she came home one day and I was 6 years old and had the entire computer ripped apart, taken apart, and by about 9 o'clock that night, it was all back together and working. So
I did the same thing with my Atari.
Yeah.
My brother almost killed me.
I did the same thing with anything that was under $10 worth, and that was electronic when I was growing up. Granted, I grew up like late 90s, early 2000s. So anything that I could take apart and look at how it worked, I basically just took a screwdriver to it and did it.
Nice. And later, Justin, Space Cowboy. Hope to see you next week. Yeah, we got all kinds of fun stuff going on over on the YouTube land. Good discussions, guys.
But yeah, certs for sure are good. Just don't depend on them. Get yourself in the door, but they're not gonna get you to the point of even operational. Sometimes you're gonna have to put in a lot of extra work and a lot of extra time to actually get there. Like, college degree. I can name 2 or 3 classes that I actually did that actually apply to what I'm doing right now. A lot of it was outside of work, outside of school stuff, where I
gotta admit, a lot of my college classes didn't really help me a whole lot either. Strangely enough, a lot of studying I did for certifications even though I didn't necessarily use it to pass the certification, it gave me a lot of background knowledge so I understand what the fuck I'm reading.
Yeah. College isn't so much, college or a cert isn't so much to teach you how to do a job. It's supposed to give you the tools and test and the methods to actually be able to take on these different kinds of problems.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, like A plus really won't teach you how to fix a computer. The only thing it does is tells you
how it works.
How many pins are in a DB25? I don't know, dude.
I remember DMA settings and IRQs vaguely. I had to memorize them, and now I've forgotten them. It's been
interrupts. Don't forget interrupts. Yeah.
Right, but I mean, just going up that tree from the basic A plus all the way up to CASP now that that CompTIA has.
Yeah.
They claim that with the more advanced certs, you're supposed to already have that knowledge, and it's just supposed to be reiterating what you already know.
Yeah, and see, that's a biggie with certs is that if you have a cert, I'll look at it from a management perspective a little bit more, but what I really want to see is that you kind of grasp some of the understanding of it, and you didn't just retain the information for a short period and then regurgitate it. I really want to see that you can. Well, number one, the biggest thing, you're willing to learn. Two, that you're a problem solver, and then three, what do you already know? And how quickly do you learn?
But
those types of things.
You can't really learn to be a problem solver. There's a lot of things in IT that you just can't learn. It's something you kind of have to be.
Agreed. And I'm not saying that a cert is going to mean that you are a problem solver, right? That's just something else. But I'm definitely looking for somebody in IT, in security, who is a problem solver, who can think outside that box. Whatever you learned while you were getting your cert, okay, so like what have you expanded past that? Plus, two, IT, home labs, like, have you built out a home lab? Do you have an interest past just making money at this? Like, is this an actual interest of yours? And I mean, not everybody here has a home lab. I do, a couple of us do, but
I do.
Is this something that you enjoy doing? Are you going to come to work every day and just, be a hate life because you have to, say I'm over a help desk, and now you're going to be essentially customer service, because that's what help desk is, for a year, but you hate life every day you come to work. I don't want to put you through that, and you're going to hate life.
I have more of a passion for tech than I do now. Now I just want to try to influence the world to be more in my image.
Which image? The massive penguin or other images?
Whatever I actually am.
Okay.
Or providing a certain group of people free helicopter rides.
Ooh.
Where the landing's extra.
The thing is, they just won't let you joke about Pinochet anymore without people getting all upset. Shit.
Okay, moving on.
You offended me.
No, just moving on. No.
Okay, all right.
I'm reading through some YouTube stuff, so yeah, keep going.
All right, Trez, you got another one.
All right, I got a whole bunch. I got you got Citrix, but I got one before that. Industrial control systems and ransomware. So we talked about this last week, and I just wanted to touch up that it's still happening a week later, obviously, and it's happening more. And I got 4 articles that all talk about industrial control systems and ransomware. But for the sake of this cast, and so you guys don't have to talk about the same shit we talked about last week, I'm not going to talk about this too much.
So it's there in the show notes if you guys want to look and read up on it some. I mean, it's definitely interesting stuff to go in and look at. I mean, Cascada and ICS is mission critical for a lot of businesses and organizations. And so whenever ICS and SCADA gets taken down by ransomware, that's directly hitting the pocketbook or, the cash flow. So, yeah, definitely an area to address.
It can also be super dangerous. I mean, imagine it's a power plant.
Oh, yeah.
Or even a nuclear reactor, which
could
theoretically happen,
It did a couple months back. Russian, I think it was a Russian nuclear facility or nuclear power plant got hit with ransomware, and thankfully nothing hit any of the mission critical stuff.
Yes. And we all plead the fifth.
Okay, I don't have to because I didn't do anything.
Well, there was attribution to Israel for that. So
you did it. I didn't know you did it.
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Wait, so you did Stuxnet too? Yeah.
Well, he worked with the U.S. on that.
I still plead the fifth.
That's what Israel. That's what Israel, the country, meant when they said we worked with the U.S. on that. It was just Israel. Just Israel sitting there in a dark corner. Yes.
Hey, I can make it even darker. Don't you doubt me.
Don't doubt anything. All right. So links in the description to the show notes, and it's listed under vulnerable stuff. All right. So we had Citrix web gateway vulnerability a couple weeks back, and we're still kind of reeling from that. Cisco now has an interesting one.
Cisco Discovery Protocol.
Yeah, so Cisco patches critical CDP or Cisco Discovery Protocol flaws affecting millions of devices. 5 critical vulnerabilities found in various implementations of the Cisco Discovery Protocol or CDP could allow attackers on the local network to take over tens of millions of enterprise devices, as discovered by IoT security company Armis. CDP is a proprietary Layer 2 network protocol used by Cisco devices for discovering info on other Cisco equipment on the local network. Think of it like, hey, are you a Cisco device? Yes, I'm a Cisco device. Cool.
CDP show neighbor? Yeah, you're my neighbor.
It's like the Mr. Rogers of Cisco devices. Would you be my neighbor?
Yes, but more handsy.
Yeah.
So the funny thing about this is Cisco charges so much for support that a lot of companies just say screw it and they don't pay for support anymore, and that means they don't get updates anymore. So there are going to be a ton of places where this exploit, or if they have an exploit for it, I don't know.
Do they have an exploit? I've got a video to show you guys once I explain the rest of this.
Please proceed.
All right.
But, I mean, it's going to be exploitable for a long time.
Yes, especially with the demo that was given to us. So to underline the seriousness of this discovery, more than 95% of all Fortune 500 companies and over 200,000 customers use Cisco collaboration solutions, according to Cisco's stats. So kind of screwing themselves there. So there is a video on there that kind of goes in and explains it a little bit better, but the main thing that they found, that Armis found when they were doing this research, was there is a remote code execution attack that is able to be ran, and a denial of service attack. And there's a video that shows both of them, and I will share my screen.
Now, while you are sharing that, you can't, I mean, this is only internal, right? You can't do this from the perimeter, can you?
That is correct. So this is epic. So that's the Ubuntu terminal Cisco IP phones that are susceptible to this, and then an audio recording, not just an audio player. So he's calling it, and then he's running his code. And there is...
Are you showing the video right now?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is sweet. I mean, this is bad.
So it is playing audio. I probably should use it. So he actually did get that audio. I'm confirming it. Excuse you.
Sorry.
And you guys want to play some Doom?
Uploading Doom. Nice. Oh, that is awesome.
I'm like, not only did these guys get RCE, they got it to play freaking Doom.
That is awesome. I love it.
Well, if you can't get it to play Doom, you didn't really hack it.
Yeah. And now it's going to crash all the rest of those phones that are sitting there. And please note that one in the back is a legacy device.
So I don't have a...
Or it wasn't even on. That wasn't even on.
Oh, something shitty right now.
So it didn't wake on LAN?
Yeah, so that did a wake. I think this one did a wake on LAN. Hang on.
It's definitely a wall packet that did that.
Can you put the link to that video in the chat with us? Sorry.
Yep.
So layer 2. So, but if it's since CDP is layer 2, doesn't that mean the attack is restricted to local network? Or am I missing something there?
Yes, it is local network only. But could you imagine how easy that, or how cool it would be? Like let's say you're doing a phishing or like you're doing an internal and phone phishing, like you're scoped for that. Or you're just an attacker and scope really doesn't matter. You can do whatever the hell you want. Let's say that you get onto their network via phish, via network vulnerability, via shit tricks to this. I don't know. Say you get on a network like that and you start monitoring all phone calls that are happening within an organization, and you start getting some really good ideas on how the process works. And you can, within 5 minutes, call whoever, like a VP of accounting or some accountant, and say, hey, I need this. We have this meeting, blah, blah, blah. You know exactly what's going on. You can, that's like gold mine social engineering stuff right there. And also RCE, because then you could just, I don't know, like use that to pivot.
Well, yeah.
Fair point.
I mean, you just have that call out to other systems that then pivot or call back to your command and control.
Exactly. And then also at the same time, you could just have an impromptu Doom tournament where they have to play
Doom on their Cisco phones.
You have to play Doom on your Cisco phone, otherwise you'll be charged 10,000 Bitcoin.
Okay.
You don't have to win, you just have to play.
I'd play Doom on a Cisco phone for that.
The only way not to win is not to play.
That's right.
I can't do that, Dave.
No, I'd have the condition of you got to play and you got to beat me in deathmatch for not to get charged.
1v1 me, bro.
Come on, that's gonna be an awesome time when attackers start doing that. If they start challenging you to shit, like you have to beat me in order not to get owned.
Trial by combat, bitch.
Yeah, trial by combat.
That actually happened. That happened in a case. So that happened in a case in Paola, Kansas. It didn't actually happen, but it got brought up. It was I think it was a custody case. A couple was splitting up, and it was getting ugly. The guy, and it was a man and a woman that were going to court. So the guy was getting fed up with how his ex-wife's lawyer was dealing with a lot of this stuff and thought it was absurd. So he thought he'd be absurd and just say trial by combat. The judge literally stated he has to consider both sides of this argument now. Like,
he does, yeah.
He's like, and now he's like almost ready to like. I gotta look it up, but this was a couple weeks back. But it sounded like the judge was like, "I might just acquit this because this is getting out of hand." Like,
because if there's a provision in state law that allows for it, then oh boy.
In Kansas, for sure.
Or there might be. Who knows?
I think
it's Kansas, so yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, it's not so much called trial by combat; it's just duel with pistols. I think would be the law if it. Well, actually, hang on. They might have it. They might not, because Kansas didn't become even Missouri. Well, Missouri became a state, then Kansas. I don't know. I'll look it up later. But it was just a fun thing. But back to this. Yeah, we should totally hack all IP phones and put Doom on them and hold employees to ransom until they play Doom on the phone.
I like it.
Way more productive. Way more productive. If I can pull this off in a pen test, I will laugh my ass off. Especially if there's a physical component or like getting that client call. Hey, so there's a video game on my phone. Was that you? Yep. You want to play? I'm connected to it.
You want to play a game?
Shall we play a game?
Do you guys ever watch?
Do you want to play a game of thermonuclear war?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Are you sure?
100%.
Turn your key, sir.
Did you guys ever watch the sequel of War Games?
There was a sequel?
Yeah.
Probably awful.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't it done by the same people that do all those knockoff movies on Sci-Fi?
Was it like more War Games?
Mm-hmm.
War Games 2, where the War Games are even warrior.
No, they had another. It was more like another It was like another developed AI that would do that, and they actually had to have. They actually had to bring back the original AI to fight the other one.
God.
I was like, oh, cool.
Wow.
I was also like 10 or 12 when I saw it, so I had no.
So like a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm that good at security, guys.
No, I mean you're laughing, but I distinctly remember being drunk with a girl watching this, and I think I saw it on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, no, it was on Sci-Fi. I remember watching it on Sci-Fi. It was Sci-Fi or On Demand, and I think it was through Sci-Fi.
Interesting. Oh wait, I did have one question. So the CDP side, is that only accessible via the phone? Who is breathing like Bigfoot?
Sorry, I got up and I was trying to grab a wire.
Okay.
Sure.
Because literally that's how I envision Bigfoot would breathe. Was the CDP side only on the VoIP telephony side, or did that extend to like switching, routers, firewall?
So okay, there are. All right. So here are the things that are available that have patches. So Cisco FXOS, iOS XR, and NX-OS software. So that's the discovery protocol for the denial service vulnerability. The NX-OS software remote code execution, iOS XR for format string vulnerability and IP phone, and then they also have video surveillance 8000 series IP cameras, Cisco discovery protocol, remote code execution, and denial of service vulnerability.
And see, what I'm wondering, because right now we're only talking about Cisco, because there's a shit ton of vendors who implement CDP. I wonder if any of those are vulnerable to this too.
Possibly, if they haven't figured it out already.
Yeah, that's
so okay.
Yeah.
Hang on. Armis also demoed a Cisco Nexus switch, 3000 or 3048 takeover here. So let me pull this up. What is this? Yeah, so they got this on a actual switch too. So it's basically like all Cisco devices use this.
Okay.
So if your device uses CDP or Cisco Discovery Protocol.
So it's actually protocol side, not necessarily just like VoIP side or anything.
Exactly. That was just something that they demoed it on. There's additional demos within the article that they link out to. Honestly, just go to Armis. They posted everything today. So yeah, it's I'm just looking through here, just skipping through CDP.
Skip to his loo.
Skip to my loo. Yeah, he basically just put himself as root on there. So full network takeover via the switch by CDP by having it execute a configure user B, user password B. So he's basically creating a user, adding bash to it, and then taking a bunch of stuff into that network, and also giving himself access to VLAN 3 so that he can grab any sort of corporate information. So he's got a share file that's up on one of his on another machine that he doesn't have access to, but he goes in and adds a access control list rule for him to go to that share through the switch by adding a user.
Nice.
Which,
yeah, you're right. That's a That's a very crappy situation.
Yeah, I will link that in YouTube, and my video is not on the stream. That's interesting.
I like what BLM Woodridge said. Turn off CDP.
Yeah,
that would be nice. Network admins in the past would have tarred and feathered me if I would have even suggested that. But I totally agree. CDP is kind of a pain in the ass, but from a Cisco perspective, makes things 1,000 times easier and makes network admins' jobs 1,000 times harder. Especially if they are almost purely a Cisco environment. But yes, that'd be nice. In a perfect world.
Oh, weird. That's why.
Huh, weird.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. My video's just not showing up on stream. Were you guys actually seeing the?
Whenever you were showing
didn't see
the
it the
video,
first time.
yes. Yeah, like whenever you showed Doom and all that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it just like
I did
camera
not
just
see
broke to my camera feed just broke to YouTube, which is fine. You just get to see my awesome logo.
Well, no, it's also in Jitsi though too. So.
Jitsi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I might just have to refresh. Hang on.
Yeah. Same thing as last week. Jitsi's buggy.
It's so buggy. I want my money back.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Cappy.
Not now.
The only other thing I really found out there for doing this kind of cast now is something called, I think it's oh crap, it has stuff in the logo. Screen something shit. Anyway, it only holds 6 people.
No.
All right, guys. I guess this is where I take a leave of that. No, I'm kidding.
Why? Who wants to get in? Because I'll step off.
No.
You're supposed to step up, not step off. Come on, Jack.
I'm an hour and 15 minutes away from getting a 1952 SG. Sorry.
SG, what?
Yeah.
I'm currently bidding on a vintage Gibson that.
You can hack the Gibson.
I'm over here like 1952. I hope he's saying a car or a truck. Come on, car or truck.
No. It's basically the original model of this from 1952, which actually was what when Gibson before they actually had the name of that changed to an SG. They called that the Les Paul. So a Les Paul. So the Les Paul model was because Gibson was making a lot of acoustic guitars, and then when they brought in Les Paul, his first design was the SG, or what we now know as the SG. So when it was him actually building those, and also teaching people how to build those, it was all in that kind of design. So I found one that was from like 1952 to 1954.
Be right back.
So it is.
That's cool. So was that like eBay or like a fringe site?
Fringe site, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want anyone on stream to go and outbid me.
Best of luck, and it'd be kind of cool, I guess, to have a guitar that's older than your parents.
Oh, I've already got those.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I've got stuff that's
Cappy,
older.
I have a gun older than my grandmother was.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cappy with guitars is like Adrian, us, and Darren and Jack with guns. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually. All right, since we're kind of on a tangent, I'll like demo a couple other ones.
No,
here.
we never go on tangents.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
we always stay straight laced and to the point. That is nice.
So this is
finish.
Yeah.
So this is an agile 8-string with just straight standard bridge, and it's got what's called the Ragnarok pickup in it that one of my guitarists and buddies, he threw that in there while he was using it, and he ended up getting a different like $2,200 guitar.
Yeah.
And what he wanted to get rid of it to help pay for his investment. And he sold that one to me for like $600.
Yeah.
And I was totally fine with that. That pickup alone was like $200. So I'm like, I'm cool with this. And he ended up looking up the value of that later because he wondered if it went up. It eventually went back up because they're getting rid of this model and going to different models now. So you can't even get that model anymore.
It's a big collection talking in guitars, I take it.
Oh yeah. Like you throw like especially into like recent times with electric guitars, you're gonna want to go into like very like 60s is where it gets to be like, okay, 60s you're looking at a couple grand if you find one that's in good condition. If you find one that's in mint condition and it was played by someone that was prolific from that time, like Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin's Les Paul probably would go for like $30,000.
Wow.
David Gilmour actually he sold off all of his guitar collection and donated it all to climate change, all the proceedings from that.
See, I wish all these people would quit trying to change the climate. I mean, climate change is occurring. They want to make it worse. Stop contributing to the problem. No,
anyway, some of his guitars, like the one that I think the one that he recorded Dark Side I think he sold the one that was from Dark Side of the Moon. That one I think went for like $100,000. I'd have to look. At least $100,000.
A few people have seen the Dark Side of My Moon, but I was very drunk and it was out the car window, so you know.
But yeah, there's a huge market for like antique guitars, especially like the ones that I'm talking about are like what we would consider vintage. Okay. Antique guitars are even more extreme. Like you're talking like this was handmade by this dude in Spain while King Henry was still king, and here it is, and it is $300,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, that's your base.
I mean, I make okay out on some of the guns as far as collectibles are concerned because they at least hold their value in general, if not increase in some cases. Mm-hmm. But I was a big comic book collector. Unfortunately, I was a comic book collector in the early 90s.
Yeah, Silver Age isn't.
That's not even Silver Age, dude. That's not even Bronze Age.
That's like, the age of retcon, dude.
No, I can't even say Copper Age. What the hell can I call it? Aluminum Age?
No, that I would call that the age of retcon. Because with DC and Marvel, it was all retcons.
Marvel's not as bad as DC. DC has a Zero Hour or an Infinity Crisis. Not Infinity. Oh, shit. What am I thinking about? Yeah, actually, it wasn't.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Crisis on Infinite Earths. Thank you. I never followed DC much because Marvel, as fucked up as Marvel's continuity is, DC's continuity is far fucking worse.
Yeah, it all hinges on one character, though, in both. For Marvel, it's Spider-Man. For DC, it's Flash.
You know what? I'd have the discussion with you later, but probably off topic for this cast. But
yeah. Anyways, so that was CDP, and then a little bit of a tangent into like guitars and whatever. I've also got like a couple of cheapies. I've got a cheap bass and a cheap another 8-string.
Now, I do have to ask, like, between the expensive guitars and the cheapies, can you tell a definite tone difference, quality of audio difference?
It depends. So it kind of goes with, and I usually point people to a video that Loudwire did of, they did three different videos. They took Zach Weidel of Black Label Society, and he was the guitarist for Ozzy after Randy Rhoads died.
Yeah.
They took him, and he literally was just playing on a Hello Kitty acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And he was just shredding. He just threw in a jam track. He was just shredding away, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then Mike Portnoy, who is currently with Winery Dogs, but he started out his career with Dream Theater. Real prog heavy stuff, like super technical stuff. He has these giant drum sets when he's on stage, and he left when he was with Dream Theater, and he left to go just do his own thing. And because he really didn't care for doing all the prog stuff, which was kind of weird to everyone that listened to him. But he went on and he had a Hello Kitty drum set, and he played Slayer, Motley Crue, Van Halen, like all of that. And he tested everyone that was on set to see if they could figure out what he was playing.
Yeah.
They only got it once.
Huh.
But he was playing it exactly right. And I got, like, the one I got was Van Halen because it was super, super easy. And that was the one that they got. But the next one, he had a double kick version of a Pokemon set, and it sounded great. So it's not so much about, yes, there are some certain things, some certain guitars sound a little different to refine the sound, but if you can't play them, you can kind of make anything sound great too. Like this guitar is my favorite, and it's also my first, but it was cheap.
Yeah.
It was like $250, and then we upgraded it as I got older, and put in Steve Vai's pickups into it, and it sounds great. I've been using it for forever. It's what I record music on. So, and I've recorded on all of those instruments back there, including the ukulele.
Nice. And
yeah.
see, that's what I was kind of thinking, that there may be a slight difference
with electric guitars.
Yeah. Now, acoustic.
Oh my God, there's so much a difference.
Okay.
Like you can play like acoustic guitars and the way that sound works. So we're all kind of got an idea of how sound works. Sound is just a vibration that resonates through something. And with a guitar, an acoustic guitar, it resonates within the hole that is on the guitar, and it goes in there and then gets projected outward. So all that air is actually rushing out at you.
I like inside a hole to project outward.
So much so that down to the actual shading or the shavings, the material, how it's formed, how it's sanded, how well it's sanded, all of that contributes to the sound of an acoustic guitar, which is why a lot of like DIY guitarists, they always use like electric body kits, or they just take a hunk of wood and make an electric guitar out of it. Because there's a lot of fine tuning that goes into it. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to have some weird sounding stuff, which is why acoustic guitars are very, very different every time that you pick a different one up. Yeah. And then like there was another company, it was called Ovation. They had, and this was big in the 70s, especially with jazz and fusion guys. And some flamenco guitarists, what they were using were, it would have a hard top, or like a hardwood top of, I think it was maple. I can't remember. Yeah, it was maple. So they have a hardwood maple top, and then a plastic ring around the hole for like the marquee. Yeah. And then and then they would have the neck attach. That was all. It was 3 pieces of wood. It was maple and I think pine. It was maple and birch. And then the back of the guitar, instead of being wood, it was a molded case of plastic.
Oh, huh.
And like a really tough plastic. And that was really cool, and it also had a electric pickup in it as well. So it was also a acoustic electric back in like 70s all the way up, and they still make them today.
Yeah.
But the difference in sound for that not only gave enough projection back then, but it also gave a completely unique sound. Every time I play that, I have no issues playing in like a big room because of how plastic reflects sound as much. Wood kind of absorbs it because wood's porous.
Bit, yeah.
Wood is a porous material. Plastic is not so porous.
Yeah.
So it's like, instead of like wood is like you going like this and some of it will bounce back.
Yeah.
But plastic is like it's all coming back.
Yeah. That's cool. Very nice. Did you ever see like the guitars that were, and for anybody who's environmentally oriented, I'm sorry to start off with, but were like sea turtle shells?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, those were interesting because like the underneath side was a sea turtle shell, and essentially they carved it out and put the overlay over it and then made a guitar out of it. I mean,
That's
it was
awesome.
Interesting looking. I mean, you either found a dead sea turtle or you killed one, but to get it, but you know, I mean, it was pretty neat.
The cool thing about the guitar that I'm actually bidding on right now, they used ivory inlays.
Oh, nice.
So where this, for what they do now, and also for this is, so these inlays here that look like ivory,
yeah,
they're an epoxy or a plastic.
Yeah.
And before that, it was an ivory inlay that was cut to size and then placed and glued into the. That almost fell over into the fretboard.
But those inlays, they're not going to affect the sound or anything, though, right?
No, maybe.
I mean, if they stuck out a little bit.
With an electric guitar, it kind of is all about, all right, how much tone, how much vibration can you have on the body itself that then gets projected into vibration that the pickup in the guitar will receive, and then send that electronic signal out to a amp to then put it into a speaker. Mother of pearl inlays. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, like with the inlays, if you have everything folded over at that specific place where the inlay is, like that shouldn't be moving, right? Everything should be down. Or if you are, you know, on individual strings, you know, like
it doesn't so much
move.
It won't so much affect the sound as if you're staying completely still. If you start to move it, you might get a smoother bend on that inlay than if you were to be on a wood. I mean, I can sit here and like go over this like all day, because there's a difference even with like the necks that I have for like 8-string guitar playing. So this is a maple neck.
Yeah.
And this is maple is a very abrasive metal, so doing bends and everything.
You are very abrasive.
Yeah, I know I am. You've met me in person. You know how this goes.
Yeah. I mean, you're like 8'4", so.
Yeah, so well, not that much. But so moving around the neck on that, a little more difficult, but not too bad. Whereas this fretboard, actually, I think this is the maple. That's the cherry wood, I think. Can't remember what it is. But this is a maple fretboard, where this is a very smooth wood. So you're actually able to move around the fretboard a little bit better, and also do a little bit, in my experience, a little bit more play in the strings, so that you can actually move and do bends and move around the fretboard a little faster.
Okay.
In my experience, for me, because I'm not that great. There are some people that can pick up a Hello Kitty guitar and shred Eruption on it, and it's no issue. And then there's people that will buy a $32,000 guitar and leave it up on a shelf.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Like with anything, it's like buying a brand new 2020 Hellcat edition Challenger and leaving it in your garage versus having your 1970 Charger. That's
I am kind of glad you took it to cars, because I can actually transition. We'll definitely have a short transition here. So I believe it was either yesterday or today the new Corvette rolled off the assembly line. Mid-engine, number one. Well, that wasn't prototype. But number one, I think it was either yesterday or today rolled off the assembly line. So
it's a mid-engine car.
Yeah. So like your Ferraris, Lamborghinis, things like that.
Oh, so it's just in the back.
Yes. Yeah. So Corvette now, and I think it's anybody else like roll in. I think it's going to be all Corvettes are now going to be mid-engine.
Wait, they're making the Corvette a mid-engine?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
And
it's already rear-wheel drive, so I guess.
Yeah, but the biggie is they're still going to have like the ZR1s, the Z06s. Like the Z06 is I think it's now supercharged. ZR1 is kind of like their track ready edition, and then you still have kind of like this one's the C8. So we've had C7, C6.
I don't think it's C8.
I think it is the C8. I think. But yeah, I think today, either yesterday or today, like the first one rolled off the assembly plant floor. So I mean, their kind of higher performance ones can definitely go against, and YouTube, you can bash me if you want. I think they can go against the Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Like it's going to be interesting because they've already had track times for the regular like stock Corvette at Nuremberg.
Okay,
but I haven't seen any times yet for like ZR1, Z06 types. So that's, but the biggie too is going to be the price range. I mean, the Corvette. I mean, granted, still expensive. It's like $60,000 for the base, 58,000, I think, or
58,900.
Yeah, 58,900 for the base.
Combined MPG coming soon.
Yeah, but you compare that to like a Ferrari. I think base is going to be maybe like 150. Lamborghini is going to be $2 to.
Oh, if you want to find something that will be Corvette, give me 10 grand.
You're not going to find anything in that price. I mean, even the Ford. What is the Ford
G100 or G?
Well, the Mustang.
No, Ford supercar.
The G500, a G350.
Yeah, it's a G something. I don't think
because there's the Mustang. They have the 500 and the 350.
Yeah, but it's not a Mustang. It's Ford's mid-engine car.
Oh
shit! What is that thing called? My whole company actually made the body for the prototype body for that, and I can't remember what it's called.
No, it's not a G100. I just looked at what that is, and that is a box truck.
Shit.
I'm finding it.
It's like a Mach 5 or something. For
the Mach 5. No, that's Speed Racer. GT.
Oh, GT. Yeah,
the Ford GT.
Yeah.
It's basically a Lambo style.
Yes. Yeah. It's the mid-engine one. And so my old company actually made the original prototype for that body. But I mean, even it was, I think, a $200,000 plus. So Corvette getting in at a decent price point on this is fairly amazing. And this could be a kind of new realm for Chevy, I think, because you're going to have all these guys who love these mid-engine cars because it really helps with the weight distribution. you're going to have a lot of guys, I think, start to, and women, just guys in general,
I'm kind of surprised they went mid-engine. They didn't put all-wheel drive or instead of rear-wheel.
I know. I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
The Camaro better get all-wheel drive before the Corvette does. That's all I'm saying.
I heard one of the lead engineers say that the Camaro will never get all-wheel drive.
Yeah, well, they're jackasses. I mean,
the
Camaro.
You know it has all-wheel drive.
Yeah,
it has all-wheel drive.
Hey, you know what performs like shit at Nuremberg? Yeah, that does. So
here's why Nuremberg sucks. It is.
You mean Nuremberg Ring, don't you? Not Nuremberg.
Nuremberg Ring, yes, which is what we're referring to. Not Nuremberg. Here's why Nuremberg sucks.
But all-wheel drive is the number one request from the Camaro community. I mean, number one for the last probably 5+ years.
Well, from a lot of performance cars, they Dodge finally got the Challenger to have an all-wheel drive version, but it's kind of shitty because it's so downgraded.
Yeah,
compared to their Hellcat or the Demon.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta build within the constraints that you want in the design. Chargers, I know, have had it since they brought them back.
Yeah, Chargers and Challengers both. They're both very similar.
Yeah, for what, 7-8 years now?
No. So they brought it back in 2006.
Holy crap, it's been that long?
Yeah, so 2006 was when they started, because you remember the Dodge Stratus and the Dodge Interped? Yeah. I almost had a Dodge Interped. Thankfully, didn't go with that. Oh my god, that would have been a terrible car. But in 2006, Dodge came back with the Charger lineup, the old school muscle coming back, or new school muscle. So they brought it back then. And 2006 to 2009 was the first run. And then in 2010, they updated the Charger again, but all of those had a all-wheel drive frame or model, but they didn't come with a V8, I think, or you had to have it custom ordered. And the car that's sitting in my garage is one of those custom ordered ones that I found used.
Nice.
So, but with the as far as Charger side, I know the Charger stuff. I don't know on the Challenger side as much because
it's pretty similar because I think they use a very.
It's the same frame.
Yeah.
It's it's not the same frame. It's a little bit of a shorter frame. The Magnum and the Charger, because they also brought a wagon back. They brought a power wagon back. It was called the Dodge Magnum, that you could get it fitted with a 5.8 liter Hemi.
Yeah, one of my buddies used to have one of those things. That was freaking fun.
Oh yeah. I saw one of those at a drag strip that a guy kitted out and had turbocharged. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
He got his ass handed to him by a GTR though, but that's because dude probably had more money in that GTR than he did in the house he lived in, which I think was a trailer. But not to say that that's not a way to live. You teach their own. So that's based on the same frame and everything. It's just got more body. I can see in my Charger where the extra hole, where the extra rivets are for you to actually have it from the factory, if they put the rest of that top frame on for it to be the wagon style Magnum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is also confusing for those that go and look up Dodge Magnum. You're going to see a lot of engines. Before they brought back the Hemi, the V8s were the Dodge Magnum. So you'll find a lot of Durangos and Ram trucks with 3.8 and 4.2 liter Hemi or Magnum engines in them, and those are V8s. I think it's 3.8. And I know it's 4.2 because we had the Magnum edition of a Durango for pulling boats and stuff all over the place. Not a fun car to drive, though.
I got a Honda Fit. I'm happy with it.
That's the hamster one, right?
Hey,
no
6'3".
Is it?
I'm not Caprico size as far as height, but it fits my fat ass, so I'm happy with it. Oh, by the way, so where are we in the show notes?
So we're actually at the weekly bulletin.
Yeah.
So, and we actually have a little bit of a blurb afterwards, it looks like. So every week we put in the weekly bulletin. This is just a list. Whoa, okay, I can't talk. A list of criticals, mediums, and high vulnerabilities and low vulnerabilities that were found during the week that are being advised upon. So go ahead and do that. And also, there's another IoT hack that Trez just put into the show notes. So Trez, you want to do that?
Let's unbold that shit. But thank you for putting that in, Trez.
Oh, he's muted, so I guess I will just go ahead and do this. So another IoT hack, 0-day vulnerability, in this case a backdoor in the firmware for high silicone-based DVRs, NVRs, and IP cameras.
I don't know why I was muted. Hey,
it's all good.
Thank you. Anyway, so this one, I was just reading this while you guys were talking about cars. So it's pretty cool. It's a hard-coded credential issue, essentially. But on top of being hard-coded credentials, you also need to do kind of like a knock-knock attack on a higher port. So you talk to this higher port 9527, and you essentially say, hey, I want to open a telnet session. And then it opens a telnet session. It used to be a little bit easier, and as people kept reporting it, they made it a little bit harder. Now there's like a little check, but the check is fairly easy to do. And the script that's linked in the article at the bottom shows you how to just run that script, and it gets you telnet access as root on the box that your DVR, NVR, IP camera, any one of them. And it just came out, like, I think yesterday. So, pretty cool stuff.
Nice. Nice. A little bit back to cars. Just talking.
Goddamn cars.
Yeah, I know. I'm just putting something in chat that's actually going to be funny. That's the souped up Camry. Well, now that I say it, the IS250, that's the souped up Camry. The only reason I know that is I owned a 2000 Camry, and when I bought the manual for it, because I was going to try and fix anything that wasn't like, I need a lift to get underneath the car to do this. It also had something there for the IS250 models as well from the same model years, which was 98 to 2002. Woodridge, you're not wrong. That thing would not die. It was like the engine in those cars will not die. It's everything else around it will kind of wear, and then it's just a little too weird to get into. But like on my Camry, the throttle control rod, it wasn't a rod. There was a wire, like a metal wire that goes up to the throttle control body, and then it will pull the throttle open to release fuel into the injectors. That snapped. So it went from go to no-go. You could be flooring that thing and nothing would happen. There's some weird tricks to get into that, though, on that model. But great car, for sure. But it's still a Camry. All right. So, back to the... Just look at the show notes. Cars. Weekly bulletin. Go there if you have check it on like a weekly basis. They get posted weekly. Check and see if there's anything in your organization or stuff that you want to research that might have a vulnerability that you need to either patch or just look more into, or exploit. That's why I say look more into. Also in there, I have in the show notes, IRS launches Identity Theft Central. What is this?
What?
So,
IRS had a bunch of problems with IRS scammers claiming other people's tax returns.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
What? No, that would never happen.
Oh, never. Essentially, you were able to get into, if you had some information on somebody, like you knew their social and you knew where they lived, you could pull down their last year's tax return and then use that to file their next year's tax return and change the address of where the refund check is going to be sent to you.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And two, there's other ways of doing this. This is the one apparently that they're addressing. But I would definitely advise file your taxes as soon as possible because they will not issue 2 returns. So it's first come, first serve.
God, that's so bad.
They did give the ability to put a PIN on your account that's 4 digits that only you know, but
man, 4 digits.
4 digits.
Wow.
That's,
that's totally secure, right?
But if you have access to the person's email, you can just reset the PIN.
That's 10 to the 4, which is
9,999.
I think I've had to pay taxes for like the last 10 years.
No, it's 10. No, you can have, it's 10 digits.
9,999, but you also have 0000. So
yeah, so 0. You take 0. How many numbers do you see on a keyboard?
yeah, I'm just saying the actual digits,
10.
not the total amount.
0 to 1. No, because this is how you do combinational math.
Through 9999.
This is how. Oh gosh. This is how you calculate combinations. It's 10. You have 10 numbers. Each position can be one of 10 things. So you have 4 digits. That's 10 to the 4.
Yeah, so 000 through 9999.
Yes. Well, goodness. But how many of them do you want to think are 1, 2, 3, 4, or 0, 1, 2, 3?
That's my luggage combination.
Damn it, Jim.
That's my ATM card. Oh, and then 3, 4, 5, or sorry, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can count. Is my credit cards.
Last 4 your social security number.
What are the letters for fuck off in digits?
That's more than 4 letters or characters.
Oh,
yes, you have to limit it to just 4. So F off.
F off. F off. SU. Screw you. Or screw you. Yeah. All right. So there's one thing that I kind of wanted to hit on that's in other stuff that we saw. Well, one thing I'll go over quickly in other stuff is, should you pay the ransom or not? Should it be illegal? So they are making it illegal, or trying to make it illegal, and this is the federal government, for you to pay ransomware or pay the ransom from ransomware. And yeah, so that's a thing.
I don't like bureaucracy. I don't like people, especially government imposing things, but I'm not necessarily against this.
Taxation is theft.
No, yeah, exactly. But in the same sense, if nobody ever pays a ransom, are you going to deploy out ransomware?
Well,
yes.
No. No. Why would you if you're not going to make money from it? That's the entire purpose of business. Ransomware is business, to make money. So why would you continue doing that business if you made nothing from it?
You already have the technology to encrypt files and also now exfiltrate them. So what we know, with what we know now, they're already going to the darknet. They don't care about laws. They're already in your system. They're already doing.
That's what I'm saying. But if you do not pay the ransom, if they are not making money, what's the point of staying in business and continuing on that business if there's no money to be had?
Well, no, I mean, all I was going to say was, up to this week, I was with you. I was right there with you until this week when I did come across a certain business case for paying a ransom. It was a medium-sized business, and they under budgeted their IT department. So it was essentially a two-person IT department, and it affected 72 of their servers.
Yeah, and they had no backups.
No, they had backups. It's just the time it would have took to recover all 72 of those servers versus just paying out the ransom. They just paid off the ransom because it was cheaper.
Yeah, which keeps those who are conducting the ransomware campaigns completely in business and going against the next person.
Well, all I'm saying is
they were like a purple squirrel. They could have actually recovered.
Right.
There's a shit ton of businesses who just can't recover because we have a lot of ransomware that's specifically targeting backups now. Because if there's no money, and I will always hit this, if there's no money to be had, there won't be malware, there won't be ransomware. If it's not profitable for them, what's the point? Unless it's like a hacktivism type of thing. But yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. Like in their case, that pisses me off. They had the ability to restore from backup and still pay the ransom. Like, come on, really?
Well, it's the same. It's the same kind of issue that you have with hacking back. Like, okay, are there upsides? Yes. Are there downsides? Yes. You could be hacking grandma.
Yeah.
Like, okay, do we pay the ransom and get everything back?
Did you attribute it appropriately?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, with this, there's going to be cases where even if this becomes law, someone's going to pay about it. They're just not going to pay for it. They're not going to report it at all. And it's just going to go off as some, like, this is, like, we're just not going to either see it or you're going to see attackers pivot to, well, we've already got all this stuff. It gets in and we basically hold everything for ransom and we can exfil data.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be so busy trying to figure out how to get their systems back up that we can sell off their data while they're doing that so fast and make a crap ton of money. And also that's like a fire sale then of user data, company data, whatever. I see that that's another market. That's just a pivot into what it like old school kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's no winning with hackers.
No,
there's also no losing.
There really isn't. And especially with the government regulation, because I really don't like it. But again, if there was not a market, it would not happen, So if you had appropriate backups, if you are scanning your data within your environment, making sure that data exfiltration is not occurring, like, all these things that we preach for the last 10 years, if they were taking place, there would be no need for any of this.
Right.
And it just annoys me because there is the ways and means of avoiding it. Appropriate security precautions, I don't like whenever government steps in. It's one of my least favorite things.
What are you, one of those libertarians?
Yeah, I'm like kind of in that realm, but yeah. But two, something has to be done because we are seeing more and more and more. And two, was this for anybody, like, or from the government regulation side, or was this?
Oh, it's for the
one
government.
Where it is okay. That's what I thought. That it was.
Yeah,
targeted
so government
entities.
specifically. Sorry.
Yeah.
So like Baltimore, like those cases.
Yeah,
those
and
cases.
New York,
Baltimore,
and
they all want to do it.
Yeah, I'm even more for that then, because public sector, like, they should be able to crash and burn, but because that's a business, they make business decisions. If they decide not to put the appropriate security precautions in place, that's a business decision. But whenever you're government, the government is not making money in and of itself. It's collecting money from the citizens.
No,
and they are forcing the citizens to pay. So this is all the citizens' money. If they do pay a ransom, and I guarantee they're not voting whether the citizens aren't voting whether or not to pay the ransom. Even though it's their money that's going to be paid out.
Also, right? another thing that Jason put into chat, the government might as well mandate backups while they're at it.
Well, but two backup strategies definitely need to be addressed. Tape is definitely an option in today's day and age. You need to have offline backups. You need to do all these different things, because the ransomware and 2 years ago was not deleting backups. Ransomware today is going through, the attackers or hackers are getting into the environments, finding where the backups are, the backup servers. They are attacking the backup servers first, if it's not fully automated, and then releasing their ransomware on the organization. It's government 100%. Should not be paying ransoms, and they need to have effective backup strategies. Jack?
Okay, well, cities are just, whether governments, whether they're local or whether they're federal, all they are is just stewardships of budget.
Agreed. And they need to be appropriating that budget accordingly. And if they aren't, the citizens need to be voting those asses out and getting appropriate people in who are going to appropriate it correctly.
And then this is where Baltimore comes in, a city with a very shitty tax base, and it's all at political whims. The problem is that that it's been under Democratic control for forever in memoriam.
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore has some of the worst schools in the United States. Obviously, they can't control the infrastructure. There's computer systems appropriately. Vote better people into office.
I mean, we can say that to the cows come home. We can say a bunch of things, but remember, they were caught with their pants down twice. Once with the ransomware attack, and then the follow up where they couldn't pay their cloud bill and lost all that data.
That is called a fluffy bill. Thank you. And for anybody listening, I refer to the cloud as the fluffy. It makes it much more fun.
That's new.
Not really. I've
never heard you say
4
that.
years.
I've never heard you say that.
Dude, I've even said it on cast like a couple years ago.
A couple of years ago, I was barely a member of.
I know you were like 9, but still, you should remember.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just craptastic that those politicians, they call it in the shorts. Hopefully, whoever took over or whoever's going to take over can do a better job with very little.
BLM brings up a very good point. The problem is local governments get IT contractors that are political supporters rather than the most capable. I'm not even going to necessarily say that they are political supporters. I'm going to say they're the cheapest.
No, in Baltimore's case, it wasn't contractors. It wasn't outsourced. It wasn't outsourced IT. It was all in house.
Yeah.
So from root to stem, they were all civil servants.
Yeah.
Now they might have had some of it outsourced, but for the most part, it was all in house and all under budget. And They just had shit budget.
Well, but that's the thing though too is, even whenever they do bring in contractors, at least I'm fairly certain about this. Jack, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it the lowest bid wins?
Yes.
I mean, essentially, no matter what, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But,
low bid wins.
And then it also comes down to what kind of contract it is. Well, I mean, at least on the federal level, it's it could be a cost plus contract, which means they cover everything up to a certain point plus whatever. So
yeah.
So whatever that percentage is, or it could be a flat rate, like you bid this contract and it's $6 million a year.
Yeah.
And that means that includes your staffing cost, and that's all you're going to get per that year.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't know how many of you guys are over in YouTube land too, have ever done RFIs, RFQs, or RFCs. Those, they'll give some information about the company, but it does not show the full extent of what the company will do. Yeah. Like the RFC process, pain in the ass. If anybody's ever had to deal with it, it's a pain. And I guarantee some of you will in the future. So not the easiest thing to traverse.
Yeah, because I had because one contract I did have a budget, and it was a very small budget, which I didn't give a fuck about because I was like, fuck it, whatever, bank that shit till next year, whatever. And then I had a flat rate budget, and that was half of what I was previously given on the previous contract.
Yeah. And two, if you are somebody who is submitting RFCs or RFIs to vendors, try to be very specific about the vendors. Try to do your homework up front to know, or at least have a good idea that the vendor is going to be able to do 85+% of what you are expecting prior to submission, because you'll probably submit to 3 or more different organizations. So just make sure that once those RFCs come back, that you don't end up with, you didn't throw somebody in there who is just the low baller, and all of a sudden pricing comes back and they're like a quarter of the cost of everybody else, and you end up with the shittiest service you could ever imagine in your life. Like
Timmy, and I've been on the losing end of that as well. Timmy Joe Bob, and he brings in a bunch of and it was a bunch of print devices, and it was Soho printers, and because he bid it so low with it was bid so low, it was no service contracts with it included. So yeah, when those things broke, that was it.
Yeah.
Company I used to work for, they had a separate sub company, and they were developing like a home IoT device that would do power monitoring stuff. The team was all a bunch of Indian guys and some developers that were actual college students still, and they finished the development for the prototype, and then the owner decided to lay off the entire lot of them, and asked like 1 or 2 programmers to support it from that point on. It was not.
Yeah. I would have left. If that was me. Fuck that.
That's typical. How long ago was that?
About 4 years ago.
That was typical. Yeah.
Wow. We have something coming up here soon, right? Yeah, maybe next. Have we already talked about? Yeah, we were talking about that. So let's hit the Shadow Nose.
Yeah. So
please.
Oh my gosh! Israel, when you sent me that picture, I literally jumped in the air. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! There's no way. Oh my god! I was like, this is the same thing as that Trump dating site back a couple months back. All right, so if you're not aware and you've been following politics and you haven't been following politics lately.
Oh wait. I gotta let you know where we're currently at.
Doesn't Hillary Clinton own this company?
We are currently at we're up to 91.84% of precincts reporting now. Two days later. Okay, so we're 91.8.
Yeah. So the Iowa caucus was 2 days ago, so it was on Monday. And we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, that a couple of municipalities and states have been implementing voting apps to have to conduct all the voting for elections. And well, Iowa was supposed to be like the trial run for a lot of them, or at least one in specific.
Dumpster fire crash.
Iowa caucus shadow voting app, quote unquote, error was inevitable. I'm not even saying this is an error.
Voting app, or was it people voted at particular areas and that was used to report back? I'm a little confused by the news story.
It was a report. It was basically used for reporting. So the people who were in charge of the precincts, they would report it back. And unfortunately, the servers that they used were how do we put it? They weren't built for the amount of traffic they received.
Okay. Yeah,
so they DOS themselves.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, Cappy, you keep going on, and I have some things that have not been verified to throw in kind of at the end.
Yeah. So, Cappy. Yeah. So essentially, it just ended up being that it basically denial of service itself, and also crashed. So none of the results were able to be filed, and also there were a couple of things that Israel sent to me that were researched. I didn't have time to really dig into what was going on, but from what he showed me an error that was a straight SQL message. And if you followed anything that I do in my day-to-day working routine, that bad, very bad.
Yeah, it was a straight SQL dump. I mean, and that part's not even the part that I'm going to get to. That is kind of the non validated. Like that part's been validated. Whenever there was an error, it would dump straight SQL. You would have the table names, everything else for the SQL database.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part has been validated. The unvalidated part is I've been seeing some information that I actually close it out.
Control-Shift-T.
Yeah. So I've been seeing some information because nobody, at least I haven't heard of Paul Buttigieg, the guy who's currently leading. I have seen quite a few reports that they are major, or they invested like $20,000 to $50,000 somewhere in there to the shadow group
brokers.
Yeah, I know that's what I want to keep saying, but that they had a large amount of money invested into this app, and it's like, or at least for them, I would think a large amount of money because I've never heard of them. So,
Mayor Pete Buttigieg,
yeah, and it's all very interesting because there's other claims, that there's, blah blah blah, but I've actually seen some what appear to be some transaction records that they were giving money to them and supporting this app, and so yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
A lot of some of the developers were former Clinton staffers or some shit.
Yeah,
I've seen various things on this, and I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I've seen some that the devs, and like one of the guys had development experience. Like he was doing like web dev like 8 years ago, and then was doing some other things, and now is one of the, or is like one of the primary devs on this app now, and it's like, whoa.
Who's currently in the lead right now in the Iowa poll? You said like what, you say 94% reported in.
Yeah, 91.84.
Last I saw, it was like Buttigieg, Sanders, Warren, and then Biden.
Yes.
The polls I've seen previous to that, which granted polls aren't very always accurate, would not indicate that would be a likely outcome. But what's the deal?
Well, and too, like with Sanders right now, like a lot of people are hitting on Sanders is getting screwed. I mean, Sanders has the same amount of delegates right now as the Buddha whatever.
Buttigieg.
You know, yeah, little Buddha.
I understand
but
call him Mayor Pete instead because Mayor Pete is easier to pronounce than Buttigieg.
Mayor Pete, yeah, I like that. So before this, have you ever heard of Mayor Pete?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm following the shit fairly closely because this is like sports to me. I find it hilarious. And
Okay.
I have a couple of friends with Trump derangement syndrome who I like to troll a little. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're not. It should be so easy for the Democrats to win in 2020, but they're fucking this up.
I mean, because before this, I'd never heard of Mayor Pete. So, yeah.
You never heard of Mayor Pete? My God.
You're
No.
Hoosier-phobic. That's why.
I'm what?
Hoosier-phobic.
Is he from Indiana?
Yeah, I'm actually from Indiana and still have strong correlations to Indiana. So,
but he was the mayor of South Bend.
yes,
Which makes it even worse because I think Mayor Cheeks.
I mean,
and
but
South
South
Bend,
Bend's a dumpster fire half the time. Anyway, I never went to South Bend, so. But I'm prejudiced since I'm from Indiana.
I live down in southern Indiana where the men are men and the sheep are scared.
Because the men are men.
But yeah, so who's leading right now in
Pete.
order? And
Mayor
then
Pete.
it's Pete, Sanders,
Bernie.
Warren,
Yeah, Elizabeth
and
Warren,
Biden.
and then Biden. But the biggie with this one, though, is that Biden, at least currently, is getting no delegates. So,
Yeah, I didn't think he would.
I honestly thought he would do a little bit better.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
No. His big he blew. Well, he didn't necessarily blow his biggest opportunity to get the nomination. It's just that it was taken away from him because Clinton and Obama sat him down in 2016 and was like, "Don't do it," because his son had just died, and he definitely would have gotten a nod just based upon that.
And one other thing, I have the stats up here on the screen. So, we have a sitting president, Trump, and Trump has 30, which surprises me, 31,464 votes from Iowa, 97.14%. The top three Democrats currently, so we have Mayor Pete, Bernie, and Warren, add up to about 1,400.
The Republicans are much more unified than the Democrats at this particular point. And my thing is,
I can understand Republicans being unified, but still, like 31,000 versus 1,500. Like,
But Iowa's a red state, so
here comes the next question on that. How's this going to go? Is how many people are going to be X or bust? Basically, Bernie or bust, Yang or bust, or somebody else in bust. How many people are actually going to go blue no matter who?
Not a lot.
I've heard people say that they're going to vote for Trump if they can't vote for Bernie.
Aleda, I love you, but you're going to be very unhappy, I think, this upcoming 2020 election.
Yeah, so there's a...
Well, and two, like after, vodka lover, what's her name? Last night?
Polinsky. Shit, Polinsky. Correct me.
Speaker of the House.
I love her too.
Pelosi.
Pelosi. Yeah. I mean, I think that last night pissed a shit ton of people off.
Oh, that pissed everyone off. I watched that live happen. I'm like, I'm gonna see only that tomorrow on Twitter.
And I will admit, Trump was a bit of a dick too, not shaking her hand, even though the whole.
Well, I mean, granted though, he didn't shake the vice president's hand either. You know, he handed the stuff off. You know, didn't shake either of their hands.
So came off looking worse in the general public's eye. But what do I know?
So here's something that I don't think anyone's talking about at all. Pelosi couldn't hear.
Why?
Anything.
Because of the martinis, or
I don't care. No, the way that she was sitting and the way that she was looking around at what was going on, she was not hearing what was happening. She's losing her hearing.
I don't know. Like, whenever she was looking to the left, I think she was looking over to, you know, kind of the Democrats that she oversees. I kind of see her as the grandma. No. Because whenever she, from our perspective, was looking left, you know, she was looking over at, you know, her fellow constituents.
Even so, the way that she was like reading and getting lost in the like she would try to listen to what Trump was saying and she just couldn't, like, straight up couldn't hear it. And that's why she had that speech in front of her too. And she was like, she'd lost her place multiple times, which I thought was like, Vince Pelosi is Archer's mom.
Trump has been known to go off on his own speeches, like just go off on a tangent. Yeah.
Like that's a thing.
I mean, but last night apparently he didn't, and I would honestly say that was probably the most tame speech that I've heard him say. You know?
See her ripping it up in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. I mean, that. Yeah, it was, and there's other people I've been seeing that are saying, you know, once he gave that speech to her, that was something that was also signed off. So that is a document of national record. I don't know, but that could be something whenever you destroy a document of national record that, you know, somebody can come after you against from a federal perspective. I don't know, something I saw out there, but it'll be interesting to see what happens from this. I mean, at very minimum, I think the Democrats have totally screwed them. I mean, whenever they had, because I did watch it, you know, whenever
they tried to play their best hand, and I mean, their best hand was a flop.
Yeah, whenever you are giving, what was the girl, 12 or 13 years old, and she's getting,
Greta?
No, last night. She was getting like a scholarship to be able to go to kind of the school of her choice or something like that. You know, the Democrats didn't cheer or stand up for any of that. You know, talking about women, which I wasn't aware of, but of the jobs that have been created recently, you know, over the last year or so, 74% of these new jobs are being filled by women, and none of the Democrats stand up. I'm like, yeah, I don't care what party you're on. Like, if you're a woman, you should be happy about that. It's like, come on, like, show a little bit of compassion, or you can clap. These are good things. Yeah. Just my annoyance.
Well, yeah. Anyway, back to what the app and stuff is going on. That probably has been outsourced a couple more times, and also doesn't help any of our confidence, if I can speak for us on the cast right now, on what the actual quality of the development was to get that one done. I don't know what the quality of the other ones will be, which is probably if it's going to be the same or worse. It might be better, but that's a very small chance.
I guarantee the app will not be moving forward to what is it, Massachusetts,
Nevada.
New Hampshire?
No, it's Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah, Nevada's going to be the next implementation of this of the app that was used in Iowa.
Oh, I can't imagine they would move it forward.
They are.
There's no freaking way.
They're going for it. Sorry.
Someone
no
is.
Way. So,
all right, if you work for these guys,
they need an air traffic controller to say, okay, nope, you're not landing, you're out. Go to, proceed.
No, but money's has been spent. That money's is going to have to get used.
I mean, the same though. I mean,
crunch time, boys.
So, okay, going back to the numbers, the Republican stuff, Donald Trump, they were reporting in the 31,460. They were reporting that in by 10 o'clock. Like, okay, why do you have to fix or change this? Like, you had the results immediately. We're still at 91.84 on the Democratic side. Like, what they were doing was already more efficient than what they are currently trying to do.
Don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting year for sure.
Yeah. And, I don't know how that process works, whether they tally it up locally and, is it a phone call?
Wait, did they say Pete Buttigieg was in
Buttigieg.
Whatever.
I'm mispronouncing it, but I think it's Buttigieg.
Buttigieg, whatever.
Adrian,
did they say
really
he came in first?
Currently, yes, but they're
so
only.
I want to read a paragraph
91%.
to you in its article I came across. Shadow Inc. was launched by Acronym, a nonprofit corporation founded in 2017 by Tara McGowan, a political strategist who runs companies aimed at promoting democratic candidates and priorities. McGowan, 34, is married to Michael Hale, a senior strategist for Pete whatever his name is, his presidential campaign, which records show has paid Shadow Inc. $42,500 for software.
Yeah,
his brother Ben also works for him.
Yeah, and that's the part that I was referring to, that I'd seen some of those numbers and I couldn't necessarily confirm it, but it seemed like it was legitimate. And it's apparently, a couple of you guys heard of Buttigieg before. I hadn't.
I never heard of him.
I never did.
But yeah, hey, yeah, BLM. I like that Buttigieg. Yes, that is.
I was going to call him Pete Butt.
No, he's now Buttigieg.
Nope, Butt.
Nope, Buttigieg. I like that.
Guys, we already have an ass as a president, so let's not go literal on this one. Oh my gosh. Well, some better news follows this.
Yes, from the yes, this is better news.
From another thing in Iowa, Iowa pen testers Iowa drops the charges against coal fire.
Yes.
So
about effing time.
Oh my God. So if you haven't been following this, essentially what happened is in Dallas, Iowa, a coal fire was contracted out by the state to go and do testing at the Dallas County government offices. And there were some stipulations with the ROE, or Rules of Engagement document, that we thought were suspicious, that might have got them caught, but it got like red-handed and like they broke the law, like they went out of scope. That wasn't the case. What ended up happening is a deputy sheriff who was an elected official.
Barney Fife. Barney Fife.
Barney Fife. Thank you for the name.
To reference Andy Griffith. Who you don't know who that is.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
All right, what was Barney Fife's occupation?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Deputy of sheriff.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time since I've watched that show.
I know. Keep going.
Okay. Anyway, they get arrested. Two pen testers from Coalfire get arrested and charged with burglary of the first degree. Yada yada yada. It's this whole mess. Coalfire ends up paying bail, getting them out of jail, and getting them back home. The CEO then makes a statement later, I think about a month later, saying exactly what happened and what the pen testers did and what was reported. And then we had everyone in InfoSec kind of come together and say, like, hey, this is dumb. TrustedSec had something, socialengineer.org.
Yeah, I think Black Hills did too, maybe.
Black Hills did.
Yeah.
And a lot of big community members, too, a lot of well-known InfoSec professionals, also came out and said that. And now there's been an acquittal of all charges.
Finally.
Against them as of January 30th, 2020. So prosecutors have dropped criminal charges against two security professionals who were arrested and jailed last September for being into an Iowa courthouse as part of a contract with Iowa's judicial arm. The dismissal, which was announced on Thursday, is a victory not only for Coalfire Labs, the security firm that employed the two penetration testers, but the security industry as a whole and the countless organizations that rely on it. Although employees Gary DeMarcio, I'm butchering your name, and Justin Wynn had written authorization to test the physical security of the Dallas County Courthouse in Iowa, the men spent more than 12 hours in jail on felony third-degree burglary charges. The charges were later lowered to misdemeanor trespass and then dropped subsequently. But yeah, fun little fact. I believe it was Gary.
Gary.
I believe Gary was the one that tweeted this out. Right when he got out of jail, he tweeted, "This is going to be an awesome DEF CON talk." And he retweeted that after the charges were dropped.
Nice.
So,
I mean, it's
I want that Black Hat. I don't even care. Like, Black Hat. That would be awesome. That is a Black Hat talk or DEF CON. At both. I don't care. Black Hat, DEF CON. Dude, that would be tight.
It'd be a Def Hat talk.
Def Hack. De Hack.
Yeah, they'll probably be at both. So
yeah, I mean, everyone's gonna want to talk to these guys now. But that is such a good thing. I will tell you from just when Coalfire happened, or when this happened back in September, I had to go on a pen test a week later.
Yeah, probably scared the shit out of you, right?
That was a physical pen test. And in LA, in like downtown LA. And hey, I was the highest bidder on that guitar. I won. So I'm now the proud owner of a 1952 Gibson.
Nice.
So I will deal with that after I finish this. The panic that sets in while you're on a pen test is already enough. Like, even just leading up to it, adding that on top of it, yeah, panic attacks. A lot of them. I had like 4 panic attacks the 3 days prior to going on and testing, and then I was a little more cautious than I probably needed to be. So I still got in, but it really sends a message of this is still, like, I can still have my job. This is what I love to do, whatever. But this was very scary. So I personally very happy that this got done. Congrats to the Coalfire guys for getting it dropped.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can make it out to DEF CON or another con that you guys are going to be at.
As well as thank you to everybody who stepped up supporting the Coal Fire guys. Um, the Black Hills, the Trusted Sex, the everybody else. Like, thank you for stepping up for something like this, because, I mean, holy crap! Can you imagine if this
we can't do
were to be
physicals
the norm?
anymore?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I was expecting to get shot. Was my thing.
Just think the detriment that would occur from a physical perspective. I mean, because eventually, if that becomes the norm, that then would move on into the virtual side too, and the computer-based hacking side. So, yeah, this was. I mean, nobody's going to say it's landmark, but it almost is, just because this needed to happen. Unfortunate for the Coal Fire guys, but this needed to be brought up to the surface, be addressed, and get it out of the way.
Yeah, and this is like the most extreme case. I have a bunch of other cases, thankfully, that weren't me personally, but have happened with my team.
Yeah.
To where it is, we do our job, and something happens to where the client, I do have one instance of it, but it was so minor that I don't even put it in the same category. And like, clients will like threaten to sue sometimes. Yeah. And we need to like damage control that immediately, which is nuts.
And two,
that was
from a company perspective, you have to have your legal ducks in a row, right?
Right.
And you need to have that SAL or that
ROE.
MSA, ROE, spot on. And you doing the physical assessment, you need to do it appropriate to the ROE.
Exactly.
But if you do it according to the ROE, like, yeah, you have the slip of paper with you. If and when the cops do show up, you give them that. You have the contact information for the person who authorized it.
Yep.
You should not be going to jail. You should not be getting charged with anything. Like, that's just bullshit if that were to occur.
I don't know all the details of this. Was a fight between state and county, or county and city?
That's kind of where the stipulation came into effect. As like, is state able to authorize a county thing? County to be pen tested. Now that's not the case anymore. I believe a month ago, Iowa put it into law that a state entity cannot authorize a pen test on any of its subsidiaries without their knowledge, or the Iowa subsidiary. So like your counties and your other municipalities underneath the state, they have to be in on all conversations that happen leading up to that pen test even being authorized to be purchased.
Authorized. I mean, and that's fine, because
I think it's
now be
perfectly
part of the rules of engagement, as well as that assists the business out, knowing, well, no, we're not allowed to do this because of the rules of the state. But if there's nothing in place, I mean, why not? Like in the case of Coal Fire.
Also, thanks, Jason, for saying congrats on me winning that guitar. Haha. Yay, it's mine. For $145.
Okay. So you won the guitar. What site was it?
Equip Bid.
What the hell? What kind of Chinese type of site is that?
It's a local thing.
Oh, okay. Equip Bid?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Like local as in you can pick it up? Or
yeah, like I have to go and drive and pick this up now.
Huh. Okay.
Not too far though. It's like 15 minutes away from me.
I swear you find some. What was that?
I said congratulations, man. Hopefully you can play opening for Sci-Fi for free raccoons in a trench coat. If you can make it down.
We got DJ. I'm gonna DJ Sci-Fi. Or we got DJ Sci-Fi?
Yeah, she's playing Saturday.
Sweet.
Nice. Very cool.
Right.
Okay, what else do we have? Preemptive opt-out. What's that one?
So this is something I put on there. We've talked a lot.
Hey,
Ad nauseam.
Darren's here. I'm joking.
Yeah, I've been here for a while. So we talked about putting credit freezes on you and your kids, things like
Yes.
that for your security.
Yep.
Even with a credit freeze, a lot of organizations will still pre-screen you for credit card offers, utilities, things like that.
Yeah.
And this is basically a way to preemptively opt out of all that shit. I had forgotten this was actually a thing until I saw someone mention it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So basically, being pre-screened may sound great until you toss something away or someone intercepts your mail and signs you up for it, and it's tied to your credit card or to your credit score, excuse me. So you probably should take advantage of this, and it's free. You can electronically opt out for 5 years at a time, or you mail in, you opt out permanently. So take advantage of it to prevent phishing attacks on your person.
Nice. Can you, like, if you're getting an auto loan or something, this would affect that. Can you
No,
shut
it would not.
Oh, it would.
Because
Okay.
an auto loan you have to apply for. This is for like you're pre-approved for Visa Gold Card. Those letters. That's what this does.
Oh, but I use those envelopes to pack full of a lot of shit and send back to them.
Hey, I mean, if you want to, that's your thing. But yeah.
So who actually runs this?
It's run joint by I think it may be run by the FTC, but it may also be run jointly by the agencies because they're the ones who actually take that data and opt you out.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I haven't seen this one. That's definitely interesting. Very, very nice. Darren, you got all this stuff that keeps referencing kids. I feel like kids are going to be in your future in like 1,000 years.
Fuck no.
I said 1,000 years. Come on. Okay, what else? Non-infosec stuff. Trump gets off. Okay,
that's pretty much it.
Want to discuss that?
I mean, we kind of knew he was going to get off. It was like they were talking about it on the news like a week and a half ago. Like there's very little chance that he's not going to. So I think Chuck Schumer is the only Republican who voted against, or maybe I'm remembering that.
Democrat.
He might be a Democrat. I'm thinking they're wrong people.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer's
McConnell.
definitely a Democrat.
I think Mitt Romney voted against Trump.
Yeah, Mitt Romney did.
Romney, thank you. I don't know why I got Chuck Schumer and Mitt Romney mixed up. What the hell's going on in my head?
Mitt Romney's still a little bitter, I think. But I mean, I feel like a lot of it came down to a lot of people may be upset that the Senate would not or did not allow witnesses. And if you actually look at the process, the witnesses are supposed to be part of everything whenever it is in the House. So, I mean, the Senate did what they were supposed to do. If the House does not have the witnesses, like, that's really on the House, and not actually putting forth a case, because that's the House's job. And then the Senate is there to kind of investigate and validate and then make a judgment. And if the House does not include that, well, sorry. And
it's their prerogative, right?
And I don't really care who the president is, Republican, Democrat, Independent, furry, whatever in the hell you are. Yeah.
What if it was me?
Huh?
What if I was the president?
Well, I mean, I would.
I don't care who
definitely-
you are. You do some shady stuff as the leader of our country. I'm wanting the House to make a case against you.
Yeah,
for democracy's sake.
Yeah, and if the House does not make that case, then once it goes to the Senate, if there's no case, and now the House is saying, "Hey, I want you to bring on these other witnesses that we never put in a deposition or anything like that," which that's not the right phrasing, but whatever it is from their side, why?
Why?
They spent what 4 or 5 months on the impeachment, and then it goes to the Senate, and they're like, "Oh yeah, now we want these other people." Come on, really?
But what if the Canadians?
Yeah, that's like
collect.
It's like going in and saying, like, if I do that on a report. Okay, actually no, on a report that's good. But if it's on a report and I find new vulnerability, good thing, because then they know that the information's in my philosophy.
Because wasn't
like pushing
this one of the longer impeachments, like at least for the information to go from the House to the Senate, though, too?
Oh, that they never took that long before, but this only happened twice before, so.
Yeah. I mean, so it's not like they rushed it through the House in like a week or something. They spent months on
Well,
this.
they were talking about how important it was and how it was time sensitive, needed to be done right away, and then they got their impeachment and they kept it for a month.
Well, yeah, and I forgot about that. Yeah, they did that stuff too. I don't know. I don't get what this mindset or thought pattern was at all. I mean, because if you're going to hold it, you might as well freaking hold it till November, whenever the actual elections occur.
Right.
We got a bunch of comments coming in right now on YouTube.
Oh, sorry. Where'd my YouTube go? Oh,
It's gone
behind
forever.
that. No, I got it.
Why do you sound like a robot?
Why do I sound like a robot?
Yeah, you just like your voice was all distorted.
Yeah, you did. You did briefly, yes.
Oh, I know why. I need to like nuke this PC and reinstall stuff.
All those viruses on there.
No, there's a memory leak somewhere.
I just
From
porn. Delchi's comment, it's all feeder, or it's feeder. That I think is most of the case because they neutered in the votes in the Senate. The Congress thing seemed kind of rushed. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, and Vince said, one ABC commentator said we need to make impeachment easier. I don't think that's the case. I think there's an appropriate process. And Vince, I think you threw that up, just as a speaking point. But I don't think that's the case at all. There is a process. It has been put out there. If they do not follow the appropriate process and then whine once it goes to Senate and try to change the process, like, screw it.
I wonder if they are going to try and impeach him again. Cause
they, at least on these things, they can't. I mean,
no, on something else. Just find some other trumped up charge.
Yeah, trumped up charge. I like that.
Trump since before he took office. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you look at everything they are currently doing, I mean, and we're seeing stuff all over social media with the shadow stuff, and I give me a second to think about my thoughts. Yeah, we're seeing the stuff all over social media about the shadow and the app, and we're seeing stuff spread everywhere. Like, oh well, if they can't run a caucus, how in the do you expect them to run a country? And that's not, that bad of a thought. A caucus is fairly simplistic compared to large scale.
See, this is why you all put me in charge.
I mean, exactly.
I would develop my own nice little harem and leave everybody else the fuck alone. It would be the perfect libertarian government.
Yeah, Vince. Yeah, we definitely do not see people voting for the opposite party as much anymore. And two, I think the voter base has become definitely a lot more partisan and agnostic to, well, not agnostic, more refined as to who they're going to vote for. It's and like in our current time set, it's either I'm going to vote for Trump, or two, I hate Trump and I'm going to vote for anybody who isn't Trump.
Or no. There's three types.
What's the third?
Fuck
Bernie's.
No, fuck it. I don't like either one of these motherfuckers, so I'm sitting out.
No. Oh, the Mickey Mouses. Yeah. Or vote for Mickey Mouse. I mean, he still gets some votes.
I mean, there are people out there, or Yang or bust, or Bernie or bust.
Yeah,
Bernie or bust.
It out.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we're having a conversation. If Bernie were in office, our deficit would just skyrocket within the first 30 days.
The Republicans have not been particularly good about keeping the budget deficit down either.
No,
that's coming from me.
And I totally agree. They have sucked whenever it's come to budget. But if Bernie is in, we are going to see the most expansive tax increase ever upon everybody.
No,
as well as a massive deficit occur.
Nah, I don't.
Because free everything for everybody costs a price at some point.
Well, I mean that's the thing with campaigning. You can promise free things, but when it comes to actual governing, I mean, look at them now. They're not. Look at them. Congress is not governing now. Everything is kicked. The can gets kicked down the road until they can't avoid it anymore, and then it's just we'll kick the can down the road even further.
Okay, I've been bad predicting over the last year. Because about 6 months ago, I would have predicted Warren would get the nomination. I'm still sticking with probably Biden will get the nomination.
No, it's going to be. I'm sorry. It's not going to be Warren. And I'm about
6 months ago. I thought it was Warren.
I think Bernie may pull it out this time, as long as the Democrats don't completely screw him over.
But they will.
I'm 40% sure that he's not going to get it. That Bernie is not going to get it this time. It's not going to be his time. They're going to.
But this is the last time.
Yeah, he'll be like 1,000 next time.
How many more opportunities does Bernie have? Exactly, because he's like 1,000.
No, I'm sorry, but you're gonna see the center, the moderates, the quote unquote adults in the room, coalesce around Buttigieg.
I never even heard of this guy before tonight.
Yeah,
they're gonna coalesce around him because because he's gay, two, because he reasonably makes sense and he's not talking about giving away free shit.
Is he really gay?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Dude, yeah.
I didn't know that.
But none of you guys have heard of Buttigieg before now. I mean, I've been thinking of Buttigieg back in my head for like the last 4 months because he's actually.
And come on, his last name screams it out.
I mean, yeah,
I can't.
Booty everywhere. But even with that, I've seen seems like a lot of the Bernie supporters are the major donors to the Democratic Party right now. So I don't see Bernie being like number 3 or 4. At very minimum, I see him being number 2.
Yeah, he'll be number 2, but
potentially being the nominee.
They're gonna try and make Warren the nominee. That's what they're going for.
No, it's gonna be. I'm telling you, it's gonna be Buttigieg.
I think she's a dumpster fire.
Yeah,
all the crap over the last 4 years with her, I don't see that being the case.
I mean, she's already problematic because of her DNA results, but
But she's got Hillary Clinton on her campaign, though.
When you come out as best 164th Native American, why don't you just drop it? Just don't mention it anymore.
She hasn't, but nobody's forgetting it.
Oh yeah.
The college she went to had her listed as one of their first. Not our college. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I forget what. I think it was one of the places she worked. Had her listed as their first person of color that they hired.
That's awesome. Oh my son! Oh my gosh! I said, "Oh my son." I was actually thinking about my son whenever you said that because my son, or actually both of them, are half Filipino. They have next to no Filipino characteristics, but I'm thinking, oh my gosh, both my boys are more people of color than her.
I don't know why the camera was kind of like, all right, cool. It's like, and Cappy.
Yeah. Tulsi, yeah, we'll kind of have to see what happens there.
Tulsi, she might get the vice.
Live streaming is on.
All right, should be back.
Okay, we're back. But my comment on Tulsi is, in Iowa, she got 0 votes.
I don't understand why Tulsi is unpopular. She is. She has most of the normal Democratic platforms, other than she's very non-interventionist.
I mean, but too, I did want to point out there's quite a few other people who had 0 votes, like Michael Bloomberg.
Why is that still involved? He spends a lot of money
because he's got the money to keep it up.
Exactly, he's got a shit ton of money to keep running ads and try to force his way into office. Bloomberg had a Super Bowl ad, I think, even, or maybe a couple.
Yeah, the only reason I don't like Bloomberg is because when he became mayor of New York City, one of the first things he did was made a law that you can't have large sodas. You go to the movie theater, you gotta have a tiny soda. You go.
Well, I believe a lot of us Americans are fat asses, including myself. Yeah, fuck that authoritarian bullshit.
I mean, but the same, like, I don't drink sodas. I'll have beer every once in a while. But I don't drink sodas. But in the same sense, I don't think government should be regulating that you can or cannot drink sodas. If they say
they're saying how much you can have.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's a drug.
Like, okay, so you can't have a large soda, but you can still have 15 small sodas. Well, dumbass, that's more than large was. Like, that's completely worthless. So.
Well, Bloomberg also has some very negative Second Amendment opinions, in my view, and I cling to my guns and my Gnosticism.
AP, did that heavily disappoint you? I have to know. I'm not saying what, just asking if.
All right, we have anything else in the show notes?
Nope. Looks like we're all good. There is a new meme posted in Trez if you want to go and take a look at that. Also take a look at any of the actual InfoSec stuff that was placed there. If you want to learn more and also research more on any of the topics that we discussed tonight. But Adrian, I think we're good to go off cast. It has been 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, we had about 3 hours and 5 minutes. Well, that's pretty good. Everybody, good night, and see you next Wednesday.
Yep.
See you next Wednesday.